Part 24. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Bulletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 232. People say black and red are also considered red. That embarrassing person like Demi Mengjia could even say what she wanted to say if she took out 3 bedrooms and 1 living room, let alone what Shen Qingqing said. She was still embarrassed, really. Gu Huiyan's song was playing in the car, and they drove all the way to Whale Village where the show was recorded. It's said to be Whale Village, but it's actually not called that. It's just a pseudonym given by the show crew. Whoa! When the car is driving on the road, you will see some coconut trees on both sides of the road. In fact, in cities like Hainan, Bana, etc., it really feels like going abroad, and the scenery is not like that in China. Like many cities in the mainland, there are more street trees on both sides of the road, as well as willows, poplars, and plane trees in Nanjing. In short, most trees look relatively normal. But when you get here, there are mostly palm trees, and the shape of the leaves will make you feel very fresh. Of course, to be honest, when you go abroad, some countries still drive on the left. Gu Huiyan drove unhappily not only because of the 2 old men in the back seat, but also because he wanted to enjoy the slow driving. He hasn't had such a leisurely drive for a long time. He has been busy since February after the New Year and is so busy that he feels dizzy. It would be fun to drive the car slowly, open the car window and take a look at the scenery outside the window. At this time, they were driving on the road where they could see the sea to the left. Gu Huiyan was from inland and rarely went to the beach, so he actually had an inexplicable yearning for the sea. The windows of the show's sponsor's car were a bit high, which made Gu Huiyan couldn't help but think that it would be nice to have a convertible sports car. I'm not talking about expensive luxury cars, just convertibles, like the convertibles I rented in Yunnan. My elbows can just rest on the edge of the sports car, I wear sunglasses, and the co-pilot sits in the car. Beauty, that's what real enjoyment is, vacation is here. Diddy. Just when Gu Huiyan was immersed in the salty sea breeze, a reminder suddenly reached Gu Huiyan's ears. I looked down and saw that the car was out of gas. Hey, Sister Cheng. Gu Huiyan said helplessly. Open a map and see if there are any gas stations nearby. Whose sister are you calling? Shen Qingqing rolled her eyes. She called Gu Huiyan brother, and Gu Huiyan called her sister. This generational hierarchy is messed up, okay. By the way, Gu Huiyan is better than her, right? Ahaha. The audience also laughed like crazy. One person said that these things Shen Qingqing did really deserve to be called sister. Don't worry about so many details. Gu Huiyan grinned. Why, no gas? Teacher he, who was drinking tea in the back seat, asked strangely. Gu Huiyan nodded. It was true that this program team had to find a gas station to refuel when recording a program. Speaking of which, he is really a man favored by the god of variety shows. There is no such guest in the history of MD variety shows who has to find a gas station by himself when driving. Shen Qingqing pouted and complained several times, then directed Gu Huiyan to the location of a gas station, and Gu Huiyan drove there. All the way to the gas station. Gu Huiyan took one look and drove directly to 92. Hello, which one to add? The gas station staff came over and asked. Because Gu Huiyan and the others had the refueling gun on the right side of their car, Shen Qingqing was the one communicating with the staff. When the passenger window was lowered, Shen Qingqing said directly. 95 refill. Sister Qing was so domineering when she said this, she didn't even look at the staff member. Of course, she didn't have a bad attitude towards the staff in front of the camera, she was just making a joke. Oh. Someone started to say in the comment area. This star is so rich, I get 95 extra for every gas. I have been buying cars for several years, and I have always added 92. I have never known what 95 feels like. To be honest, that's where Gu Huiyan's car drove. If Shen Qingqing wants to drive it, she can drive directly to the 98. Teacher He and Mother Zhang in the back seat didn't care at all, as if this was a normal thing. Anyway, the program team paid for it, and the money was given by the sponsors, so it was not in vain. But at this moment, "Hey, don't!" Gu Huiyan suddenly shouted to the staff member, and then said, "Just add 92. As soon as these words came out, 666. The barrage in the live broadcast room started rolling. "I knew you Gulalu would say this. I'm waiting for you right here, kid. Ha ha ha, he has to be my brother." Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x20. The system sent a points prompt after a long absence. When Shen Qingqing said to add 95 just now, many people didn't say it, but they had a hunch that Gu Huiyan would definitely say to add 92. As expected. He indeed said it. "You said that the audience came to take care of Huiyan. What did they want? Isn't it just the aesthetics of violence that picture this boy?" Since the show started broadcasting, Gu Huiyan has never had a chance to finish his work. Many viewers are a little bored now. When the sentence plus 92 comes out, good guys, they are not sleepy anymore. It's called the internal smell. The familiar feeling slowly returns. Why add 92? The corner of Shen Qingqing's mouth twitched. In fact, she knew Gu Huiyan. When she was eating silkworm chrysalises in Yunnan, Gu Huiyan did something to cure her hypocrisy. "Why don't you take this bag home and transform it into a butterfly?" At that moment she knew that Gu Huiyan was not pretentious at all. "But I never thought that he would also do this. Aren't all these oils the same? What can be added to make them different?" Gu Huiyan said calmly. "Then 95 is more expensive and older, so why bother?" To be honest, Gu Huiyan probably doesn't drive much, so he doesn't really understand the difference between 92, 95, and 98. I had seen it before when I was watching videos, and it was said that the blast resistance, alkane number, density, etc. were different. The more expensive ones are definitely better, and adding more expensive oil is better for the car. It means less carbon deposits, etc. There is no doubt about this. But if you ask Gu Huiyan, this car can be driven no matter how it is driven, but what difference does it make if it is filled with gas? Some people will say that if you add 95 or 98, the car will be more powerful, but where can it go? Is it even comparable to a tank? Or do you mean to just eject and start after adding expensive oil? No matter how expensive the oil is, can the car take off after adding it? How exaggerated. Just like Gu Huiyan never buys any luxury cars, no matter how expensive the car you buy is, there's no way you can fly over it if there's a traffic jam. In Gu Huiyan's eyes, gasoline is almost the same. Just add the most basic and popular one. Why do you have to add 95 or 98? The price of oil is not cheap to begin with. It has been rising in the past 2 years. To fill up a barrel of oil for their SUV, even if it is 92, it costs 300 to 400, let alone 95 or 98. Not to mention, this is still the show crew's car, not theirs. Why are you so serious? Eat or not eat fried cakes? Shen Qingqing was speechless for a moment. Seriously, if you meet an expert, he can really tell you a few words about the good qualities of gasoline. If you don't lack the money, you should pay more for it. But Shen Qingqing is not an expert. She almost never drives at all. You want to ask her why she added 95? She is a star. What kind of life should a star live? What an enviable life. Which celebrity have you seen cheering and adding 92? It's not like I can't afford it. He. Teacher he in the background chuckled and said with a smile to Zhang Dan next to him. I've only heard that Xiao Gu is very down to earth, but this is the first time I've seen him today. Mother Zhang was happy when she heard this and said with a smile. He's usually like this. She happily told He Yu that even now, Gu Huiyan is not willing to wear expensive clothes, some trendy brands given by sponsors, etc. Generally speaking, except when he is on a show and has work needs, he never not wearing them. He said those clothes were too expensive and he was afraid they would get dirty. He often wears the ones he bought for tens of dollars from a certain treasure in the past. He said they are comfortable to wear and there is no burden even if they get dirty or worn out. Unlike those clothes that cost tens of thousands of yuan, those items are very particular. Some of them cannot be washed and have to be sent to a laundromat for dry cleaning. If they are worn out, they will be distressed for a long time. Haha, really? Teacher he laughed after hearing this. He always thought that Gu Huiyan was like this in front of the camera, but he didn't expect that he was like this behind the camera. But the crux of the matter is that there is indeed nothing wrong with what he did. Some people may say that Gu Huiyan is so popular and makes so much money, but he still doesn't do anything. But Gu Huiyan wants to say that no one in this world stipulates that rich people must spend all their time. Not everyone is like them. It's just as easy to make money, but money should be spent wisely. There's no need to spend it everywhere. In life, one's own comfort is the most important thing. Whatever others say, don't take it seriously. Just treat it as fart. Refuel and get back on the road. Maybe it was because there was a turn in the road and it took some time to fill up with gas. Gu Huiyan was still driving slowly, so they arrived late. The other groups of guests had already arrived, and someone had already sent a message in the group saying they were waiting for them. After seeing the news, Gu Huiyan had no choice but to speed up. It was almost 10 o'clock when we arrived at Whale Village. Today was a very sunny day. The sun was very bright and the sunshine was abundant. I said damn. When getting off the car to pick up the luggage, Gu Huiyan occasionally couldn't help but complain to Zhang Ma, saying, I'm just asking you to choose a more normal location for recording the show next time. Why can't you show it in every place? As soon as these words came out, ahaha. Many viewers were happy. Gu Huiyan had previously recorded Crystal Love Season in Yunnan, and when we first recorded it, my brother was also a perfect young man, white and tender. As a result, after half a month of recording, people were already so dark that it was very different from when we first recorded it. There's nothing I can do about it. This guy doesn't like to wear sunscreen, he thinks he's pretentious, and he likes to hang out in the open playing basketball or something like that. If he's not bad, who's bad? It was also funny this time. Yunnan and Hainan, two famous tourist cities and famous for requiring sunscreen when traveling, made Gu Huiyan catch up. Haha. Mother Zhang was also happy. She didn't care much about wearing a sun hat and just said, it doesn't matter if it's a dark spot, it will be good if you join the group in a few days. He is going to film going to where the wind is. The male protagonist is an authentic Yunnan native. Anyone who has traveled there knows that many locals are actually quite shady, especially the tour guides and so on. They are shady. It doesn't even sound right. The male protagonist who travels back and forth in the local area every day is unlikely to be too white. Of course, if it is too dark, it will be ugly and not photogenic, but there is nothing wrong with the regular wheat color. Huh? Join the group? Does Xiao Gu want to film? He Yu asked. The barrage is also going viral. Some netizens said, Gu Laoliu, didn't you say you didn't want to film at the beginning? You lied to me. Well, he wrote a script by himself. If someone submits it, let's take a look, Mother Zhang said with a smile. These words can be regarded as igniting the hearts of some melon-eating people. Some people say that Gu Huiyan can also write scripts. Some people may question Gu Huiyan's acting skills, but absolutely no one will question Gu Huiyan's talent. Music creation and scripts may be different, but they think that Gu Huiyan, who can create so many high-quality songs, must not be too bad at writing storylines. For a moment, I was really looking forward to it. Even more tempting and crazy is at his online best friends, asking them to dig up information about Gu Huiyan's new drama. At the same time, some people said that Mother Zhang was really good to Gu Huiyan, and there was nothing wrong with calling mom. Someone on the internet has taken stock before, saying that starting from the guests of Crystal Love season, to various resources later, and Gu Huiyan releasing a new album, Zhang Ma helped him withstand a lot of pressure. Especially during the month when the new album was released, Crystal Love season had just ended that month, and it was when Gu Huiyan took the opportunity to make money. God knows how much pressure Zhang Ma had to endure by giving him a month off at that time. Many people know that she is Gu Huiyan's beau Le, and some people often jokingly say, "That's all for my mother, okay." Some people would also say that Gu Huiyan should not call Dan Ma, but should just call mom. Gu Huiyan still disagrees with this point. Gu Huiyan is a more serious person, especially when it comes to titles. He generally doesn't like to call someone daddy or mommy, even if it's a joke, especially he doesn't like to call someone the same as those who do live broadcasts. Family. Yes, that's it. It feels quite awkward. Your family, your parents, they have raised you for so many years and invested so much energy and care in you. They are so closely related by blood. Then a random passerby in the live broadcast room has done nothing. You just call me dad and mom. Family. Why? How disgusting must you be? Do you go to any lengths just to sell something? As for that, don't even have dignity or face. This is even more true for those who call them mom and dad. They didn't raise you and they didn't do anything for you. What do you think if you call them mom and dad? Zhang Ma was quite nice to Gu Huiyan, but if you want to compare her with your own mother, you still can't compare. It was not easy for his mother. She opened a fried skewers shop to raise him and his younger brother. She worked early in the morning and stayed late at night. The kind of family affection was unmatched by anyone later. So Gu Huiyan could only call him Dan's mom instead of calling her mom directly. He is now a single-parent family and is afraid that his mother will think too much. In the midst of laughter, a few people carried their things and walked along the seaside road towards the sea. At the beginning, it was a cement road, but after walking on it, it was directly on the beach. Pattering. In the morning, when the sun is at its best, the sea surface is sparkling, and waves hit the shore from time to time. Walking on the beach, shoes can easily get dirty. Shen Qingqing, a small clip, simply took off her shoes and carried them around, her white little feet stepping on the beach. It's inexplicably cute. Brother Huiyan, take a picture of me, take a picture, take a picture. She even cooed and pulled Gu Huiyan to take pictures of her. However, Gu Huiyan was carrying 2 large suitcases in his hands, and he didn't mean to offend her at all, so he just said, "You are really ignorant." Shen Qingqing immediately rolled her eyes. The beach is actually quite empty, and few people will build houses near the sea, because it will be very humid and impossible to sleep at night. But they didn't do that when recording the program. The program team just built several small courtyards on the beach. One of the largest courtyards is called Tian Nian, and the other 2 are called Company and Care respectively. When they saw this name, many netizens were happy. Pei Ban, take care of me. Okay, is your program team so eager to take advantage of the popularity? I'm just saying that it doesn't seem to be what I mean. It seems to be what the elderly and family members mean. Yes, the old man can take care of himself until his old age, and his family will accompany him and take care of him. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe it's because Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's Pei companion care is too popular, so now whenever the pronunciation of these four words is mentioned, people can think of them. The program team did not deny that the name was intended to capitalize on their popularity, but it was actually a coincidence. The meaning of the program coincided with the name. There were two elderly people, Jong Ma and teacher He, and a group of children. Ouch! Mother Ginger just arrived at the door. I heard a woman shouting. Gu Huiyan took a closer look and saw that the one with pink hair, wearing a white off-shoulder skirt and a pair of slender white chopstick legs was not a member of Shang Zuoyan's hard candy super sweet group. Sweet my sister Su Xiun, who else could it be? Ah! I miss you so much. Teacher Ho. The little sweet girl was so enthusiastic that she ran over in small steps and hugged Mother Zhang and teacher He. These two are veterans in the industry, so they should be respected first, and Su Xiun is indeed familiar with them. She has participated in their programs before. Oh, who is this? Isn't this teacher Gu Huiyan? When it was Gu Huiyan's turn as the third person, her eyes were so eager to shine. Whenever she said something, she never concealed her intentions towards Gu Huiyan. Brother Huiyan, do you know each other? Shen Qingqing, the little clipper, grabbed Gu Huiyan's arm and said in a coy voice. Of course we know each other. Teacher Xiao Gu came to our concert as a guest. Su Xiun said with a smile. We have eaten together many times, don't you think so, teacher Xiao Gu? As she said that, she winked at Gu Huiyan. There is a saying that the members of these well-known professional girl groups are really good at expression management. As for wink, Gu Huiyan feels that Shen Qingqing can learn it for a lifetime. Of course, she is still not as good as Shang Zuoyan. Shang Zuoyan's big eyes really look like stars twinkling when they wink. You act like we have never had a meal together. Shen Qingqing pouted, and there was a little anger between the two girls. The audience was all happy and thought to themselves, what is going on? Is Gu Huiyan so popular? Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 233. Regarding the irritation between Shen Qingqing and Su Xiun, some netizens commented harshly, saying, two green teas come together. These words caused a burst of laughter. Needless to say, Xiaja, Su Xiun often appeared in tea on some programs, which is not a rare thing. Now that the two green teas are together, everyone is really looking forward to what sparks they can create. Let's see if we can mix green tea and green tea together to make a black tea or oolong tea. Ahaha. Danma. Teacher Ho. Maybe the people in the room heard the sound when Su Xiun called Ma Zhang just now. At this moment, a group of people came out of the yard. Just now, there were only Gu Huiyan and Zhang Ma, but when I turned around, 6 or 7 people came out. On the beach by the sea, more than a dozen people gathered together, and it suddenly became lively. It is worth mentioning that everyone in this group of people is wearing fancy clothes. Just talk about Su Xiun's teammate, the short-haired beauty little fox Shen Yuki. She wore a strapless tube top. It was blue, and her white shoulders and almost perfect collarbones were clearly visible. The color of blue made her whole person look more beautiful. Very youthful and beautiful. A pair of very short light blue denim shorts highlights a pair of white and long legs. She looked so much like a fox. When she was putting on makeup, she put some sparkling things on her eyes, and the eye makeup was very high, not to mention that there were too many people. Han Xianji next door looks the same, dull and cold, but these girl group members are not inferior to others in terms of dressing. Today she wore a striped long-sleeve dress that matched her long blue hair. The skirt and high waist make the whole person look well proportioned, and the whole person's temperament is the same as the hair color, cold. I won't introduce the rest of the people one by one, they are too cool. Anyway, they are all wearing colorful clothes, their makeup is too thick, and they are all dressed up very brightly. The brother Gu Huiyan had met before, Zheng Yunbin, was wearing a slutty blue undershirt and sunglasses, looking very coquettish. Compared with them, Gu Huiyan looked somewhat out of place. He was dressed in the simplest way. He didn't even have a hairstyle, let alone makeup. He usually didn't need very little makeup for work. Zhang Ma said that this variety show was about life, so Gu Huiyan could do whatever he wanted. Then Gu Huiyan will definitely not wear makeup. He originally took this route. Speaking of which, there were actually dogs who said that Gu Huiyan didn't respect the camera or the audience when he went on a variety show without makeup or dressing up. Gu Huiyan really didn't know what to say to Heza. It feels like since the Chinese New Year period when Zhang PD's stir-fried rice noodles with chicken essence collapsed, his group of little black guys with exposed chicken feet also came to Gu Huiyan's side. "Oh, long time no see, long time no see. Hello hello. I miss you so much." The celebrities are showing more enthusiasm, especially Shen Yuqi. She has a similar personality to Su Xiun and Shen Qingqing. This kind of coquettish younger generation always makes their elders happy, and Zhang Ma always laughs and chats with them. Of course, they will also say hello to Gu Huiyan. Teacher Xiao Gu is almost the highest ranking person in this group besides Zhang Ma and Teacher He. Gu Huiyan knew most of the people in this group, and there were a few who he didn't know but had met each other before. For example, the Hong Kong singer named Chen Feng, whom he met backstage at Orange TV during New Year's Eve last year, said hello. On the other hand, Gu Huiyan may have never met the young Tyrande named Zhang Mi, the child actor named Xiang Zi, and the sister named Zhang Yao. At most, he has heard of them. "Hello, brother, my name is Xiang Zi." The little sister Xiang Zi is not very tall, and she has no discernible figure. I don't know if she is young or something else. In short, she gives people the impression that she is not fully developed. What he was wearing wasn't very feminine, he was actually wearing white short-sleeved gray shorts, just like Gu Huiyan, a bit like that tomboy feeling. But the face is quite pure, and the whole face shape and facial features are quite high-end and recognizable. If you say it is very good looking and you look very stunning at first glance, that would definitely not be the case, but it just feels that you look quite pure, and it belongs to that kind of movie face. Her hair is not too long, and is casually tied into a ponytail on the back of her head. All in all, she gives off the feeling of a heroine in a literary film. "You are so sweet." Gu Huiyan nodded. To be honest, he was also a sister slave. When the family wanted to give Guzun the second child, he would talk about how great it would be to have a sister every day. However, he got a younger brother, and he complained a lot about it. I feel that this kind of sister is quite pitiable. When you see her, you want to buy a lot of delicious and beautiful clothes to make her happy. "Hello, Mr. Gu." The sister named Zhang Yao is too feminine compared to Xiang Zi. To be honest, this kind of young woman sister who has been married and had children and is still in good condition is really awesome. Not only does she have a bumpy figure, the curves are known as one of a kind, and I am very good at wearing them and dare to wear them. She wore a dark pink floral dress with a stroppy square collar. A large piece of white chest was exposed, and you could even see some proud career lines. She doesn't shy away from it at all and doesn't think there's anything wrong with wearing it like this. Her sexy waist can be twisted at will. This kind of married woman is always very generous, giving people the feeling that she can see everything. As for the taste, Gu Huiyan felt that no one else could do it except Sister Xylin. She is also quite good looking. She used to be a well-known actress and she often takes care of herself, so her face is not shabby at all at this age. Her face was small, giving the impression that it was as big as a palm, but her eyes were big and bright. Among the people Gu Huiyan knew, Shang Zuoyan was the only one who could compare with her. "Hello sister." Gu Huiyan was still very polite and called her sister. Zhang Yao pursed her lips and smiled slightly, saying, "11 Lin and I are very good friends, and I often hear her mention you. Yeah. Gu Huiyan grinned, but he didn't expect such a relationship. The two exchanged a few words before Tyrandas Hadi finally joined in. He came here with Zheng Yunbin. They seemed to be quite familiar with each other, and they were able to play together. What is worth mentioning is that Zheng Yunbin actually got close to Gu Huiyan. Hey bro. He came over with the rapper's standard greeting and extended his hand. Gu Huiyan was stunned at that time. To be honest, he had heard of rappers' greeting methods before, but he had never come into contact with many rappers, and he had never used this method. When Zheng Yunbin shook hands with him, he honestly stretched out his hand. He thought he was shaking hands, but he shook his hand and immediately let go. Then he shook his head and spun around. You. Gu Huiyan was really entertained. This was so damn funny. What's even more funny is the young Tyrande guy named Zhangmi with the yellow hair next to him. He is following Zheng Yunbin. Hi man, what's up? This brother came up and grabbed Gu Huiyan's hand before he could put it down. He shook his hand and raised his eyebrows. I didn't do anything. Gu Huiyan's English is not very good, but he can understand it. He may not know what the greeting means, but he can understand it to ask him what's wrong. Then he replied that it was nothing. It's not you, hey, brother. Zheng Yunbin was wearing a pair of sexy sunglasses and said. Why don't you understand anything? I'm saying hello to you. Gu Huiyan was overjoyed. He suppressed his laughter and said. No, what should I say? Ahaha. The audience also laughed like crazy, and everyone expressed. Gu Huiyan, I had a really hard time holding back my laughter. I thought about the saddest thing in my life. I almost couldn't hold it in. Why did it feel like Gu Huiyan and the two of them were just watching two clowns alone, ha ha ha. The way these rappers greet each other is so embarrassing, ha ha ha. I've never been embarrassed to say it. Well, my brother is a bitch. It's normal for him to not understand your high-end stuff. I don't know what kind of tradition these rappers use to say hello. When they first saw it, many people thought it was quite new. Isn't it quite handsome and cool? But then some young people found this thing very interesting, so they thought about some more exaggerated gestures, techniques, etc. Say hello and wink for a long time. Something that would be done with just a handshake. All of a sudden, I felt greasy and sick from doing this. As time went on, the audience gradually started to feel embarrassed. But other rappers don't think so. They still think they have such an attitude and are so cool. The funniest thing is that if some people cannot keep up with their rhythm when greeting them, they will be criticized in a somewhat disgusting tone. Just like Zheng Yunbin said about Gu Huiyan just now. They may not be laughing at it, their culture is just like that. It will be quite fun if you keep up with their rhythm. If the two of them say hi man, to each other, they will be able to start a conversation in no time. Do you believe it? It's so easy to get used to it. But there is one thing to say, many people cannot accept their stuff. Are you like Gu Huiyan? He didn't quite accept the somewhat exaggerated way of greeting. Zheng Yunbin probably disliked it. He didn't take it seriously and even looked at them as if they were looking at clowns. Gu Huiyan is quite confident. He has never doubted himself, and he will not learn from others just because his own way of greeting cannot keep up with others. He has always been quite determined. For now, he really doesn't think there's anything wrong with him, but if you don't respond to Zheng Yunbin and the others, isn't there something wrong? Looking back, I will be said to have no quality. So Gu Huiyan thought for a while, and when faced with Zheng Yunbin and Zhang Mi's rapper's standard way of greeting, he actually raise your hand. His left hand formed a palm, his right hand formed a fist, and he naively gave Zheng Yunbin and Zhang Mi a fist. Just that? The two brothers were stunned. That expression is so wonderful. That's called being confused. When have they ever seen a rapper greeting a rapper like this? Hold your fists, dear. This is, so old. What kind of era is this way of greeting? But unfortunately, they can't say that Gu Huiyan doesn't respect them. Because in ancient times, the fist-holding ceremony was the highest level of etiquette among people in the world. Just give Huiyan a fist hug and make them both messy, okay? Puff. Ha 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 ha. The audience laughed like crazy. Barrage blast. Gu Huiyan, I don't know what to say, so I should give him a fist. Gu Huiyan, hold your fists, old man. Gu Huiyan, rapper. Then how would you respond if I made a fist? Ah ha 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 ha, as expected of you, Gu Laolu. I've learned nothing, I'll greet my rapper friends like this from now on. Let me tell you something, Gu Huiyan, this is really the highest etiquette. Go check out the fist-holding ceremony. I will really laugh to death. My head will fall off laughing, and my family will get rich from laughing. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x20. System points arrival prompt. Gu Huiyan doesn't like to follow the crowd. He just insists on doing what he likes. For example, celebrities and entertainers all dress up beautifully, but he doesn't like to wear makeup. Celebrities and entertainers all eat light meals, but he shows off with big mouthfuls of fried skewers and burritos. More like this way of saying hello at this moment. It's not that others say that you can't keep up with the trend in a disgusting tone, he is right. No one dares to say that what he is doing is a trend. Then the trend is still cyclical. Bell-bottoms have become popular in the past 2 years. Can you believe I'm back? You are right only if you insist on what is right. You say hi bro and hi man to me, and I hug you and call you brother. What's wrong? No. Is there a problem? And to be honest, those so-called rappers' ways of greeting were originally imported from abroad, and the words they said were all in English. We don't mean that they worship foreigners, so what the hell came out of their mouths? It's not Mandarin, right? If you use foreign greetings to greet local people, what's your point? It's quite funny. Originally, two brothers, Zheng Yunbin and Zhang Mi, laughed at Gu Huiyan because he didn't know how to greet a rapper, but Gu Huiyan hugged them and made them stupid. Puff. The little girls over there couldn't stop laughing, especially Shen Yuki and Su Xiu. To be honest, they don't quite understand how boys and rappers greet each other, but seeing how happy they are, they think every boy this is how it should be cool. But when Gu Huiyan hugged his fists like this, they immediately felt that compared to Zheng Yunbin and Zhang Mi, Gu Huiyan was much more pleasing to the eye. Okay. Sister Zhang Yao, who was wearing a pink skirt, covered her mouth and smiled, thinking that this little teacher Gu was really just like Xilan said, naive, dumbfounded, and quite straight. Okay, don't be poor and hurry in. Zhang Ma happily shouted for everyone to come into the house. At that time, everyone thought she was too hot in the sun, but she pointed at Gu Huiyan and said, "Let's give our little Gu a 10 again." These words made some people happy, and some people commented on the barrage. This is my real mother. It's not even a cover-up, it's just that this show is tailor-made for Xiao Gu. While laughing, everyone went into the house to put things away. There are 3 small courtyards in the program recording location, namely Tiannian, Company, and Care. Among them, Tiannian is the largest courtyard with 3 rooms. The middle one is the oldest one. Thieves are suitable for this group of people to gather together or something. It's quite hot outside, but the air conditioning is on in the room. The decoration is actually quite good and modern, with refrigerators and TVs all available. It won't seem crowded if more than a dozen people gather together. Hey, it's so hot to death. Before we were assigned rooms and decided where we would live, our suitcases were temporarily thrown outside. Everyone went in to take a cool break or something to avoid the heat. The beach is nice everywhere, but it's too sunny. I just came all the way here and there are no trees on the beach. It's very hot. The yard is okay, there are a few coconut trees, and some other flowers, trees, and the like. It seems that they were not planted on the first day, but they are already growing quite well. Hey, feed this flower. Teacher, he didn't stay in the room for a while and then came out to look at the flowers. Gu Huiyan happened to come out and change a pair of shoes. He gave teacher he a glass of water on the way. He was very happy to see it and said, "You like flowers?" "Well, I usually like to raise some flowers and plants when I have nothing to do at home." Teacher, he smiled and said, "I'm usually busy with work and don't have much time." Gu Huiyan nodded and said with a smile, "Then do you know how to grow these plants well?" Teacher, he shook his head, took the water Gu Huiyan brought him, thanked him, took a sip, and looked at Gu Huiyan in confusion. Gu Huiyan chuckled and said, "You have to use something not so clean, like." He hasn't finished speaking yet. Puff. Teacher, he squirted immediately. Ahem. He coughed and raised his foot to kick Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan laughed and ran away. This naughty kid. Teacher, he was so angry that he rolled his eyes. Ahaha. The audience also laughed like crazy, and everyone expressed, "Gu Huiyan, you are so disgusting. The last time you played shit, you didn't get a shadow, right? Haha, I blew up a cow dung last time and almost got banned." Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x11. It is said that he remembers food but not fights, but in fact Gu Huiyan also has a memory. This time he just mentioned it and said that he didn't do anything. If he really cared about eating and not playing, and teacher he said he liked to grow flowers and grass, he would really make some manure to raise the flowers and grass. After watching for a while, someone in the room called teacher he to come in, saying that they wanted to divide the house. Make sure you have a place where you can put your luggage. There is a large long table in the room where everyone can sit, and there is a large screen in the middle, which is a place for everyone to hold meetings. Is everyone here? Mother Zhang sat in the main seat without any hesitation. Everyone looked at each other for a while. Where's Gu Huiyan? Zhang Ma frowned and asked. This is the first time for everyone to have a meeting. Where did Gu Huiyan go? When the cameras showed Gu Huiyan, some viewers were entertained. Let's just say, brother, you don't need to be so comfortable. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 234. A white t-shirt short-sleeved top, a black tea bag that reaches no more than the knee, and standard flip-flops. Gu Huiyan wore a pair of sexy sunglasses and walked alone on the beach. When I have nothing to do, I will go to the beach to wade in the water, or pick up a few stones and throw them into the sea to see if they can float or something. In vain, men's happiness. But obviously, it is not realistic to fight here. It is windy today, so the waves are not too small, and the water drift can usually be hit in water with small waves. Gu Huiyan in the camera looks as leisurely as if he is on vacation. No, are you so comfortable? The audience was all happy. Some people said that Mrs. Zhang and the others haven't discussed where to live yet, and Gu Huiyan has already disappeared. Isn't it a bit unruly and impolite? Fans started to quarrel over this, saying that when Gu Huiyan came out, he knew they were discussing whether or not they would live together, and they were still chatting and enjoying the cool weather. The barge slowly floated by. Of course, more people are still curious about what Gu Huiyan is going to do. What are you going to do? The camera teacher responsible for following the filming couldn't help but ask. When Gu Huiyan heard this, he looked at the camera teacher. Then he couldn't help but take off his sunglasses, stared at him and said with a smile. "Eh? Teacher Zhang, what a coincidence, it's you again." Camera teacher. At that time, the camera teacher was speechless and suddenly didn't want to say anything. That's right, this camera teacher is the same person who was responsible for filming Gu Huiyan during Crystal Love season. The core team of their directing team is still the team of Crystal Love season, and the staff has basically not changed much. Originally, teacher Zhang was unwilling to shoot with Gu Huiyan anymore. In Crystal Love season, he was a follow-up who walked Gu Huiyan, just like the follow-up of a large-scale outdoor reality show, and followed him. Basketball followed him up the mountain to collect mushrooms, and he was exhausted. The most disgusting thing is that this guy likes to run wildly even when he has nothing to do, even wearing personal flip-flops. But the problem is, he doesn't want to follow Gu Huiyan, and no one else wants to follow Gu Huiyan either. They are all members of the cast of Crystal Love season. They all know what kind of material Gu Huiyan is, and they all know that they will suffer with him. Whoever follows him will be unlucky, so who the hell is still following him? Eat or not eat fried cakes? So in the end, because he had been responsible for Gu Huiyan's tracking and shooting, this teacher Zhang became Gu Huiyan's follow-up. He didn't really miss Gu Huiyan, and he didn't know what Gu Huiyan was going to do. For the sake of the audience, he asked again. "So what are you going to do?" "Oh, I'll take a walk around." Gu Huiyan pointed outside and said with a smile. "When I first came in, it was quite interesting to see the village over there. I went there for a stroll and got familiar with the environment." Many people were happy when this was said, and one audience member said, "As expected of you, you are caring for Huiyan." Everyone came here to record the show, but he focused all his attention on the village. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x11. You don't care about everyone. The corners of the camera teacher's mouth twitched and he couldn't help but ask. "They can talk first." Gu Huiyan grinned. In fact, he was half a loner. It wasn't that he was unsociable, but it was mainly because he felt it was too noisy and no fun. And he doesn't like staying in air-conditioned rooms very much. Yes, it's cool, but Gu Huiyan often feels that the humidity is too heavy and is not good for the body. What's more, there are so many girls as guests on Hello Life Match this time, and they are very evil. Although the temperature outside is high, the sea breeze is quite comfortable to make you sweat. When he was recording Crystal Love season in Yunnan, Gu Huiyan was often away from home and liked to play basketball outside. Now, in fact, it is still the same. You mean socializing? In fact, some things are invalid social interaction. As for the guests inside, Gu Huiyan felt that it was pointless even to chat with them, so he might as well take advantage of the time he had just arrived to take a look around. All right. The corners of the camera teacher's mouth twitched crazily. What he actually wanted to say was, "Gu Huiyan, you don't want to stay in an air-conditioned room, but do you think it's easy for your employer to carry a camera all over the seaside with you?" Of course, he couldn't say this in front of the camera, but he would certainly have to slander him secretly. Ah, sneeze. Gu Huiyan sneezed and muttered. "Who missed me?" Camera teacher. After walking along the beach for only a few steps, they came to the path they came from. Following the path, there was a village over there. In fact, the villages on the seaside here are not very backward, they are quite developed, the roads are quite smooth, and there are some fishery businesses nearby. Gu Huiyan even saw a farmhouse. So hot. The weather is quite hot. What do you think of the weather here in Hainan? Sultry. When I was in Yunnan last year, it was actually quite hot for a few days, but the heat there was not particularly stuffy. It was still a little cooler during the day and night when there was no Sunday. But when we got here, it felt quite stuffy. Of course, you can say that the temperature in Quancheng is incomparable to the temperature in Quancheng when Gu Huiyan took Pei Jingshu home in July and August last year, but you will still sweat after taking a few steps in the sun. At this moment, when Gu Huiyan walked to the entrance of the village, his forehead was covered with sweat, and the chest of his shirt felt a little wet. Seeing a big tree at the entrance of the village, Gu Huiyan walked all the way over. There was a canteen next to the tree. In front of the canteen, under the shade of the big tree, there were some seats for people to sit on. It couldn't be said to be clean, but occasionally you could see it. Several villagers were sitting there. "Boss, bring me a bottle of Sprite." When he entered, Gu Huiyan went straight to get a drink. He saw sausages in the sausage machine at the door and bought a few sausages. His image is just like that of a child in the village, and drinking drinks and buying sausages is something he likes to do on a regular basis. Yeching is back. Seeing Gu Huiyan like this, some viewers couldn't help but express emotion, feeling that Gu Huiyan's down-to-earth spirit gradually became like a sentiment to everyone. Some people say that it was not surprising that Gu Huiyan was like this at the time. After all, he was an amateur at that time, and everything he did as an amateur was normal. But the problem is that he is quite popular now, and he is one of the 3 main stars in this show Hello Life Partner. When you are making a lot of money every day, your behavior or food and drink are still the same as before, which is quite commendable. Of course, the most interesting thing for the audience is the scene of Gu Huiyan using his mobile phone to pay. It feels like when watching shows nowadays, there are very few scenes where artists can be seen holding their mobile phones, let alone using their mobile phones to make payments. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x20. System points are credited to your account. Gu Huiyan asked the proprietress of the shop for a piece of paper, wiped his sweat, took the grilled sausage and Sprite and sat down on a seat under the shade of the big tree. There happened to be a child next to him. He didn't look big, like he was in kindergarten, but he was chubby. That guy was covered in flesh, he was white and fat, and he had big eyes. A proper big fat boy. His mother looked to be about 30 or 40 years old, and a little fat. It was easy to tell that the family was in a good place. At this time, she was carrying a cattail leaf fan to help her son. The mother and son looked quite kind. Gu Huiyan couldn't bear to see the fat boy staring at the sausage in his mouth, so he handed him the half-eaten sausage and said, "If you don't think my brother is dirty, then I will give you this half of my brother." The child's eyes lit up when he heard this, and he stretched out his hand to get it. "No, I'm fine." His mother was quite sensible. She took the little fat man's hand and said, "He's eaten 3 or 4 today. He's just greedy. Don't worry about him." Ha ha. Gu Huiyan was happy for a moment. This kid looked pitiful just now. He thought he was not allowed to eat at home. He had been making trouble for a long time because he had eaten too much and wanted to eat him. So Gu Huiyan stood in front of this fat boy. Ah! He stuffed the remaining half of the sausage into his mouth in one gulp, leaving only one in his hand to sign. The little fat man's expression suddenly dropped, and he looked as if he was about to cry. He dragged his mother and started to make trouble with her, insisting on eating sausage again and again. "It's so funny." Puff. Netizens were all happy and couldn't help but express, "Gu Huiyan, you kid is really not a human being. When I was a kid, if I met this kind of person, I would fight him to the death. He did this on purpose. How shameless." The little fat man fussed for a long time, and finally stopped when Gu Huiyan handed him the Sprite in his hand. Too ignorant. While his mother was scolding him, she told Gu Huiyan that she was sorry and wanted to buy another bottle of Sprite for Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan said there was no need to use a bottle of drink, it didn't matter. After chatting for a while, the elder sister started chatting with Gu Huiyan when she saw that there was a camera teacher following Gu Huiyan and that the boy was quite handsome. Ask him if he is a celebrity who comes here to record a show. Gu Huiyan said that celebrities just record a show, and artists make a living by selling their skills. The eldest sister smiled and said that she had never seen a star like you before. Gu Huiyan laughed and said that there are so many types of celebrities. I grew up in a small village anyway, and my environment is similar to yours. The two of them went back and forth and chatted quite clearly. Through the chat, Gu Huiyan learned that the eldest sister's surname was Zhou, and that her family had opened a farmhouse nearby. The business was not very good, but barely enough food and clothing was not a problem. The eldest of the two children in the family has already gone to college and will soon be working after graduation. There is also a second child at home, so it can be considered a happy family. Gu Huiyan, a social gangster, was relatively familiar with him. He kept shouting Sister Zhou one after another, which made him feel embarrassed when he called her Sister Zhou. The weather was quite hot. Gu Huiyan saw Sister Zhou holding a cattail leaf fan in her hand and asked, "Sister, where did you buy this cattail leaf fan?" Gu Huiyan has long been envious of this cattail leaf fan, and the uncles and aunties next to him all have it. His mother would also buy it when he was at home before. "I bought this when I went to the market," the eldest sister said. "Nothing for sale here. Generally, things like cattail fans are usually sold in some shopping malls or markets, unless they are in a large supermarket." "That's it?" Gu Huiyan scratched his head, raised his hand to wipe the sweat, and asked again. "Then when are we going to the market here? Where are we going to catch it?" The audience was all happy when this was said. Some people may want to say that the other guests are all glamorous and making jokes with the show over there. What the hell is it that you are discussing with the local villagers when and where to go to the market? Exist. Sister Zhou told Gu Huiyan about the time and place to go to the market. Maybe she saw that he wanted to get a cattail leaf fan. She smiled and said, "I have some unused cattail fans at home. If you don't mind, I can give you one as a gift. I just went to the market yesterday and it will still take a few days." "Okay." Gu Huiyan's eyes lit up after hearing this, and he said without any pretense, "We have a lot of people recording the show. I'll tell them later to go to your farmhouse to take care of business." "Haha, good." Gu Huiyan was pretty good at talking, which made Sister Zhou laugh. She pulled their fat boy and led Gu Huiyan home. "People are talking about the cattail leaf fan that is not in use, but it is not particularly bad, that is, it has holes in a few places, which does not affect the fanning at all." Gu Huiyan was embarrassed to receive no reward for no merit, so he simply called the program team and asked for a box of sponsored milk to give to them. "You kid, you." On the intercom, the PD teacher from the program team almost wanted to scold her. That is to say, this kid Gu Huiyan used things from their program team as gifts. It was really not once or twice. In Yunnan before, this guy would take things from the program crew every time he went out to play basketball. Sponsors' milk is given as a favor. It's just an advertisement. At worst, there's no charge for this, right? Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes. If an artist mentions something from a sponsor on a show, even if he doesn't deliberately record or record business, he will still receive corresponding income. Especially for a celebrity like Gu Huiyan, the sponsor had set the price for each business line before he went on the show, and it was very high. "You said that the program team suffered a loss when he exchanged a box of milk priced at 60 to 70 yuan for a used cattail leaf fan. But if Gu Huiyan did not charge advertising fees, he would suffer even greater losses." But how to put it? Sometimes, Gu Huiyan doesn't really care about these things. People enthusiastically gave him a cattail leaf fan, but he was embarrassed to take back a carton of milk for nothing. He also advertised for sponsors on the way. If he didn't want any money, he didn't need any money. He just wanted to be happy. Why did he think so much? Program team. I didn't know what to say to Gu Huiyan. I have never seen such a carefree artist. The audience was also happy. In fact, after many artists became famous, it was not that they had to be pretentious, but that they were bound by many rules that restricted them from doing and saying various things. To put it bluntly, it is still a matter of interest. But Gu Huiyan doesn't care much about these aspects. At this point, some old fans are quite pleased to see it. Gu Huiyan took the cattail leaf fan and walked away while fanning it. Don't tell me, he was already a villager wearing big pants and flip-flops, but when he shook the cattail leaf fan, he became more like a villager. We chatted all the way back. When we returned to the entrance of the village, Gu Huiyan saw an old man playing chess there, so he followed him and watched for a while. "Uncle, you should get on the horse here. The horse you just got on will be useless. Wouldn't you just hit him as soon as you hit him? Get out of the car. Are those two cars left to guard the four directions? You won't be able to get out unless someone is sent to hold it for you." Sometimes, it's no wonder that some people scolded Gu Huiyan for his lack of quality. They said he watched the chess game without saying a word. This kid kept nagging at the uncle's side. It made me want to give this kid 2 punches. Of course, Gu Huiyan was not the only one who said that. There were several uncles around him, all pointing out the country. Gu Huiyan only said this after seeing what others said about him. But it is a fact that his voice is much louder than others. Some fans were helpless and couldn't help but smile bitterly and said, "This time he is exposed on the internet again and I really can't protect him. It's very tiring. He doesn't pay attention to anything all day long, he's so careless, and gets scolded every time for his lack of quality. Every time they have to defend him, fans want to say, he's tired of being the one with his eye-catching eyes." Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x11. Maybe it was because he hadn't eaten Gu Huiyan's grilled sausage just now. The fat boy at Sister Joe's house was clamoring for grilled sausage again. Sister Joe had no choice but to buy him another one. She also bought one for Gu Huiyan on the way. Gu Huiyan was quite embarrassed. It was at this time. "Brother Xiao Gu." In the distance, a familiar voice suddenly came. Gu Huiyan took a closer look and saw that it was his sister Xiang Zi and Shang Zuoyan's teammate, the short-haired beauty little fox Shen Yuki. "Why are you here?" Gu Huiyan asked strangely. "Looking for you." The little fox pinched Liu's waist with a slender hand. Her waist was quite thin and had a waistcoat line, but it was not as sexy as Shang Zuoyan. Shang Zuoyan's waist, especially the shape of her navel, exposed her navel. There are not many people in domestic entertainment who can compare with her. But if you want to talk about ornamental value, Shen Yuki's waist is also pretty good. Everyone is having a meeting, waiting for you to decide where to live. Shen Yuki rolled her eyes and said, "You'd better play here by yourself." Xiang Zi nodded obediently. In fact, when they saw these two female celebrities, Sister Joe and the junglers around her who had just argued with Gu Huiyan and said, "You can do it, you do it," subconsciously fell silent for a few moments. How to say? This is the entrance to the village. Most of the people sitting here at this time are villagers. They dress casually and talk and do things very casually. Gu Huiyan's arrival is actually a bit out of place occasionally, but this kid is so familiar. He plays with Sister Joe and her fat boy, and points out the country with several uncles, as if he has infiltrated the villagers. Internal meaning. In addition, he didn't wear makeup or anything, he was still wearing personal flip-flops, and later he was rocking a cattail leaf fan. It gives people a very down-to-earth feeling, and makes me feel like a villager. There won't be any sense of inconsistency. However, when the very fashionable and exquisite female idols Shen Yuki and Xiang Zi arrived, it seemed that this harmony was immediately broken. It was as if Gu Huiyan and the others were filming a period drama. When the two urban beauties Shen Yuqi and Xiang Ziyi arrived, they were directly involved in the urban drama. The audience looked a bit amused. Not to mention those villagers and the like. Compared to ordinary people, they are indeed dressed too delicately. Even though Sister Xiang Ziyi's clothes are quite normal, she also wears makeup. With her makeup and hairstyle, she definitely can't be confused with ordinary deer people. Just now they were arguing about whether to ask the uncle to protect the horse or to get in the gun. A group of people were having a heated discussion. When they came, it was like they were in silence. At this moment, many viewers seemed to realize the difference between them and the celebrities. He also realized how valuable Gu Huiyan's down-to-earth spirit was. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down-to-earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 235. Maybe it was because the immersive experience of watching Gu Huiyan mingle with the villagers was quite immersive. Many viewers subconsciously thought, oh, it seems that celebrities can chat easily with ordinary people. How can they be so superior? But it wasn't until Shen Yuqi and Xiang Ziyi appeared that they realized belatedly that it wasn't celebrities who chatted easily with ordinary people and could mingle with each other, but just only Gu Huiyan could do this. Others will make people drama just by showing up. Tisk tisk. The audience was a little bit embarrassed, and many people on the barrage lamented this incident. What are you doing here? The little fox Shen Yuqi came over in a funny way. She had heard Shang Zuoyan say that Gu Huiyan was quite down to earth, and she really saw it today. When he first came to the village, Gu Huiyan was able to get along with the old man who played chess at the entrance of the village, and there was no one else. I have nothing to do and take a walk. Gu Huiyan replied. At this time, he was holding a cattail leaf fan given by Sister Zhou in his left hand and fanning it gently. He was holding a grilled sausage in his right hand. He had just been busy shouting with the uncle and forgot to eat it. The little sister Xiang Ziyi's somewhat pure eyes couldn't help but glance at the greasy sausage in Gu Huiyan's hand. Yazi pursed his lips, a little greedy. Come on, sister. Gu Huiyan handed over the grilled sausage. Xiang Ziyi's eyes lit up, and he reached out to take it, but... Ahem, teacher Xiang Ziyi. Her camera teacher grabbed her and explained to Gu Huiyan. Her team has repeatedly told her to go on a diet recently. She's still on a diet. Gu Huiyan was full of questions at the time. Xiang Ziyi was actually a skinny girl. She was not tall and had no figure. She only relied on her face and hairstyle to survive. She was still on a diet. That's not the case, brother Gu. Xiang Ziyi smiled wryly and waved her hands, explaining to Gu Huiyan that she had recently accepted a movie, in which she played a girl with cancer, and that disease was supposed to be a skinny condition. So in terms of eating these days, as long as I can maintain my daily life without getting sick, I'll be fine. I can be as hungry as possible. Gu Huiyan felt a little messy for a while. Sometimes I really had to admire these dedicated actors. They could really lose weight or gain weight for their roles. Well, she said so. Gu Huiyan definitely couldn't delay other people's work. But seeing the way Xiao Xiangzi occasionally looked at the sausage in his hand, she still felt a little distressed. He really is a girl controller. The audience was also happy, and everyone said that you, Gu Huiyan, are probably the only one who doesn't need to keep your mouth shut. I can eat it, Mr. Gu. At this moment, the little fox Shen Yuqi suddenly shrugged and leaned over, licked her tongue with a smile and said. Why don't you know how to give way to me? She is also a younger sister. One thing is for sure, she looks pretty enough to begin with, and when she licks her tongue and winks, she is really alluring. The crux of the matter is that even though her speech was a little greasy, her tone was not sarcastic, it was more like a joke, which was much better than the little clip Shen Ching Ching. However, when she said this, Gu Huiyan had already taken a bite. He grinned and said with a smile. Are you still eating? Shenyuki pursed her lips, rolled her eyes and said. You are so quick with your mouth. Thank you for the compliment. Is this called praising you? Otherwise, are you scolding me? How could I scold you? Then do you still want to eat? If you don't want to eat, I will. Buy me another one. Ah. Who told you to talk fast? It's not like you can't afford it. Go quickly. The two of them started to pull each other back and forth. In fact, if there is no one in private, Shenyuki won't mind even if Gu Huiyan takes a bite, just eat it. The crux of the matter is that this is in front of the camera. If you really eat it, you will easily be scolded by the audience. Gu Huiyan had no choice but to buy 2 more sausages. One was given to Shenyuki, and the other was given to Xiang Ziyi when the camera was not filming. The little sister wanted to refuse, but Gu Huiyan was very enthusiastic and claimed that he would let her eat it secretly when no one was around. In the end, she refused the sausage temptation. Some netizens commented harshly on this, saying, "How do you think this guy Gu Lulu won my sister Pei's heart? I remember that when they first met, he let Sister Pei take a bite of his ice cream. If it hadn't been for that, how could Sister Pei have been so impressed by him?" It is worth mentioning that before the little fox Shenyuki ate the sausage, she specifically faced Gu Huiyan's direction when the camera could not capture it. He stretched out his pink lilac tongue and licked the grilled sausage head a few times. Gu Huiyan quickly looked away, not daring to look at all. Let's just say, is it necessary to eat grilled sausage like this? Gu Huiyan suddenly understood why she insisted on eating a sausage. A few people were walking back eating grilled sausages. On the way, Gu Huiyan saw a coconut seller and bought a few coconuts. One thing to say, this coconut water is really not that delicious, but at least it is pure natural and much better than the drinks sold outside. Gu Huiyan usually buys drinks on the roadside to drink. The team has told him how many times he said that stuff is unhealthy. This coconut water won't say anything, right? There were many guests, so Gu Huiyan bought one for everyone, which was a bit much. Fortunately, Xiang Ziyi and Shenyuki came, otherwise Gu Huiyan might not have been able to carry it himself. Even so, Gu Huiyan carried nearly half of the 5 or 6 items himself, and let the 2 girls grade the rest. For this, Shenyuki praised him and said that he was old and manly. Gu Huiyan said that a man must have this kind of strength. You'd better not compare yourself to someone who can't even hold an actress weighing less than 100 pounds. These words caused Shenyuki to laugh sweetly, and they chatted all the way back. Because we were in a group, we happened to chat with Shang Zuoyan on the way. Gu Huiyan asked casually and said, "Why didn't she come?" In fact, Gu Huiyan is not very shy about mentioning Charlene in front of the camera. The main reason is that the impression they gave to the audience is not bad. It seems that they have become friends instead of lovers. The audience was also quite curious about this. 3 of the 4 members of their group came. Why did Zuoyan not come? Of course, Shenyuki would not say bad things about Shang Zuoyan's poor condition in front of the camera. They are in the same group after all, and saying bad things will make people say that they are not in harmony within the group. She just said, "She is busier than us and doesn't have much time to be a permanent guest. But if she has time later, she will probably be a flying guest for 1 or 2 issues, right?" This is indeed true. No matter how much abuse Shang Zuoyan suffered from online newspapers last year, the resources she had access to were not comparable to those of Shenyuki and Su Xiun. Shang Zuoyan did take a break at the end of last year. At that time, the 3 of them shared Shang Zuoyan's resources for a while, but since Shang Zuoyan came back last month, well, all kinds of good things have come back. Shenyuki and the others also complained about this, but to be honest, sometimes they had to admire Shang Zuoyan. She was very popular. After her return, she accepted an interview about her sudden weight loss, and took the opportunity to hype it up. The poor character design has attracted both old fans and new fans. Plus a few more shows this month. Shang Xuan belongs to the type who can make a fortune with a twist of her waist. It is not difficult to imagine that after a few performances, she will become famous again. Some money should be earned by people and not envied by others. Oh, alright. Gu Huiyan was relieved after hearing this. He had been too busy recently to pay attention to the news on the internet. He thought that Shang Xuan hadn't adjusted well yet. After hearing this, it seemed that he was already at work. Yes, she is just like what she said, how can she be defeated so easily? Teacher Xiaogu. When talking about Shang Xuan, Shen Yuqi said as if she was causing trouble. Why do you care so much about her? In fact, she wanted to ask Gu Huiyan what happened in the room with Shang Xuan that day. They originally thought that if they had both of them drunkenly and stuffed into a room, then it would be natural for them to do everything. Therefore, when they sent Gu Huiyan away that day, the three of them looked at Gu Huiyan in a strange way. But later, things didn't seem to be what they thought. It seems that Shang Xuan was quite sad that night, and she started to go downhill from that point on. Friends. After all, he was facing the camera frequently, and he was asked about such topics in interviews not once or twice. Gu Huiyan already knew how to answer. He simply said, I heard that she is not in good condition. Please take care of her. Oh. Shen Yuqi was still a little unwilling to get anything out of her. No. You talk a lot. Gu Huiyan was happy and said with a smile. Look at my sister, she doesn't talk much. He pointed at Zi, and the little sister followed him obediently, carrying the coconut, and didn't interfere with anything. When Gu Huiyan pointed it out, she smiled innocently. Her big innocent eyes felt very clear. It was very hot without shade on the beach. Xiang Zi had some sweat on his forehead. Gu Huiyan was still shaking his fan. Fan her. I talk too much. This was the first time in Shen Yuqi's life that someone said she talked too much. Black lines appeared on her forehead and she couldn't help but say. I finally understand why Shang Xuan always likes to chase you. You are really. It would be nice for a beautiful lady like her to hang around Gu Huiyan and chat with him actively, but he thinks she talks too much. Are you satisfied? Haha. The audience was happy when they heard this. Don't tell me, they really miss the days when Shang Xuan chased Gu Huiyan to fight. The beach is quite empty. If Shang Xuan really chases Gu Huiyan, he can chase her for a long time. Shang Xuan may not be here, but maybe because her three teammates are here, the audience can always think of her. After all, there is only one little wild horse for domestic entertainment. When Gu Huiyan and the others went back, Mother Zhang was tired of waiting. To be honest, this was Gu Huiyan. If it was anyone else, she would have designated him to give him a scolding first. The others were okay. After all, they were in an air-conditioned room, in front of the camera, and some of them had not seen each other for a long time. They were chatting with each other, which was quite lively. Come and drink coconut. Gu Huiyan attracted some people's attention when he came back. Don't tell me that this kid has his own tricks. He knew that he made others wait, so he came back with gifts. What are you doing, kid? When Zhang Ma asked, he even said confidently. I saw there was a coconut seller over there. I went to buy coconuts for everyone. You're lying, this old guy didn't even type up the draft, okay. Ahaha. The audience was all happy and wanted to say, do you think we are blind? Xiang Zi suppressed a smile, but Shen Yuqi directly exposed his glare without hesitation and said. You must have gone to play chess with the uncle at the entrance of the village, right? Gu Huiyan. Aim. Ahaha. Everyone burst into laughter. Where did you get this cattail leaf fan, teacher? He asked curiously. It was given by an elder sister in the village. Gu Huiyan replied. Hey, okay. Teacher, he couldn't help but look at him with admiration. One thing he said was that Gu Huiyan was really familiar with himself and could mingle with the local villagers wherever he went. During the laughter, no one blamed Gu Huiyan. On the one hand, Gu Huiyan didn't know that there was a meeting when he went out. On the other hand, didn't Gu Huiyan bring coconuts back for everyone? Hey, Dan Ma. Gu Huiyan put a coconut in front of Mother Zhang and said. I picked the best one for you, come and try it. He even had the straw inserted. Netizens were amused by that swishy look. How could they have thought that this kid had such a bad side? Go. Zhang Ma rolled her eyes and said. Sit down quickly, I've been waiting for you. Okay. Gu Huiyan took a seat and everyone was finally here. Zhang Ma began to explain various program procedures, precautions, etc. to everyone. The first is to divide the houses. The largest house Tiannian is where the two elders live, and the remaining guests in the other two courtyards are decided by drawing lots and divided into two families. Those who disagree can be replaced and it depends on how they decide. Secondly, there is the program flow. Strictly speaking, there are no rules in their program. They just live together and usually nothing happens. The program team will have some entertainment facilities. It depends on how they want to play. It's all casual. Just be happy. Good. As for food and drink, the program team will make arrangements for it, but they need to make money to buy it. As for how to make money, the program team occasionally arranges tasks such as picking up garbage at the beach, helping fishermen count fish, or following fishermen out to sea to make money. Of course, everyone can also discuss their own business types with each other, such as cooking dishes for themselves, putting on makeup, etc., and making money from their own hands. This is easier. Oh, for example, if someone massages my feet or something, I will give them money, right? Hearing this, Gu Huiyan said casually. He didn't mean to talk to anyone, but Sister Zhang Yao happened to be sitting opposite him. His words were like asking Zhang Yao to press his feet. After saying this, he just raised his eyes to look at Zhang Yao, and the two of them looked at each other. No sister, let me give you an example. I didn't really ask you to press my feet, Gu Huiyan said. Ha ha ha. Everyone was happy, the table burst into laughter, and it felt like Gu Huiyan was responsible for the lively atmosphere and the effect of the show. The sister in a floral dress didn't care at all. Instead, she gave Gu Huiyan a wink and said with a smile. If you give me enough money, my sister can't help you pinch your feet. As soon as these words came out, oh! A wolf howled in the room. Zheng Yunbin and the brother named Zhangmi were like the two atmosphere groups. They were indispensable for making noises about anything. Zhang Yao chuckled. My sister is quite open to conversation. She is actually more open than Xylin. She even dares to talk about this kind of topic. Gu Huiyan felt that at least Sister Xylin would not discuss such topics with him. After all, I have experienced divorce and everything. Okay, everyone, just be quiet. After the laughter, teacher he came out to control the situation. After all, he has been a host for many years and has first-class control skills. The room quickly became quiet. Then teacher he stepped back and handed over the control of the topic to Zhang Ma. Zhang Ma smiled and nodded. She really likes teacher he always knows how to measure things. I'll tell you a few things to pay attention to, and we'll start drawing lots to allocate rooms. When Mother Zhang said this, some people had not noticed the seriousness of the matter and were still holding a coconut and smashing it and drinking it. Who knew that Zhang Ma would immediately click on that someone? Gu Huiyan, you kid. With all the cameras shooting and everyone watching, Zhang Ma named Gu Huiyan in public and said. First, you are not allowed to run around casually. You cannot fail to find someone when they look for you. It is best not to leave the recording range of our program at any time. Second, you kid, don't buy me those snacks and other random things. Especially try not to buy anything that is not sponsored by this show. If you want to eat and drink, use the sponsors. Third, you can communicate with the villagers, but you cannot go out with them casually. If you go, you must report in advance, otherwise you are not allowed to go. Fourth, don't touch anything dirty or disgusting. Do you understand? As soon as Zhang Ma said a few words, everyone at the scene was stunned at first. Immediately afterwards, puff. Ha ha ha. Almost all the guests and the audience burst out laughing in unison. Barrage blast. I thought I should pay attention to something. I have been making trouble for a long time because I need to pay attention to Gu Huiyan. As the biggest star in the show, he deserves this treatment, ha ha ha. You're wrong, brother, he is clearly the biggest star in domestic entertainment. Mother Zhang understands him so well, ha ha ha. Look at Gu Huiyan's expression. His laughter has made his family rich. At that time, Gu Huiyan was drinking a coconut with a straw in his mouth. When he heard this, his expression was stunned. His mouth was open, but the straw had not been taken out. He stared at Zhang Ma with an incredible expression on her face. It was always funny. What are you looking at? Mother Zhang didn't feel anything was wrong at all. Instead, she pointed at Gu Huiyan and said, I am talking about you. The above points are all based on her previous experience when recording Crystal Love Season. When he was in Yunnan, this kid liked to run around when he had nothing to do. He couldn't find anyone all day long. He was either playing ball or visiting other places. When he saw Ayao and his uncle going to the mountains to collect mushrooms, he followed them on a whim. Why? This also caused Xylan to sprain her foot. Gu Huiyan is really like a wild child with his bad eyesight. You really can't control him if you don't set some rules for him. These are all pretty good, except that the camera teacher is a little tired at most. What really gives the entire program team a headache is that he likes to buy all kinds of strange snacks all day long. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 236. Gu Huiyan always likes to buy some cheap and common snacks like Sprite, potato chips, etc. There's nothing wrong with him eating it, and no one will stop him from eating it. The key problem is that he shouldn't eat it in front of the camera. Those are all unsponsored. If you eat them in front of the camera, you are advertising those things for free. It doesn't matter if they advertise for free. The key problem is that they give free advertising to those who don't have sponsorship. What do you want the sponsors of their programs to think? Gu Huiyan cannot use the money given to him so much, but he eats it every day without giving him any money. So do they have to lower their sponsorship offer? Many sponsors complained about this when Crystal Love Season was released. The most disgusting thing is that their program is live broadcast, and coding is in the later stage. It is basically impossible to code during the live broadcast. The source of the live broadcast also needs to be edited into the official version later. When editing Crystal Love Season, the post-production teacher wanted to cut off Gu Huiyan's head. I don't know how many complaints Zhang Ma received against Gu Huiyan. For this reason, when Hello Life Partners solicited sponsorship this time, Jiang's mother specially sponsored several snacks for Gu Huiyan, such as dried fruits, ice cream, and homemade hot pot. Generally speaking, small sponsors like theirs, who can sponsor cars for big money like theirs, can't get in, but there is no way. For the sake of Gu Huiyan, and for the sake of the show team, she can only negotiate. Ha ha ha. Everyone in the room laughed. Anyone who knew Gu Huiyan knew what he was doing, and everyone also understood Zhang Ma's targetedness. Of course, the most interesting thing is the fourth one. Zhang Ma said that he is not allowed to touch dirty or disgusting things. She probably refers to the fried cow dung stuff. Up to now, there are still people who are digging up old scores to blackmail Gu Huayan, so this is really for Gu Huayan's benefit and nip it in the bud. Then I just stay in the room and do nothing. Gu Huayan spread his hands helplessly, feeling that he had been sanctioned. At this time, there was a comment that was quite interesting. One Jiuer commented, "It's over." It was finally released from the ban position, but the damage was completely destroyed. Gu Huayan's T0 is useless. This remark caused a burst of laughter, and netizens rushed to like it. Of course, some fans said, "Strong people never complain about the environment. I believe Gu Huayan can fight his way out. So what if it's weakened? As long as the mechanism is not changed, people with skills can still show off how they want." While laughing, everyone began to draw lots to allocate rooms. First of all, Zhang Ma and Teacher He will definitely not participate in the lottery. The two elders live in the largest house, and the rest will depend on their luck. What Gu Huayan got was care, which is a yard in the corner of the village on the west side. Gu Huayan just stopped by to see that yard. There were 3 huts, like that kind of farmyard, with white walls, and it looked quite nice. Now, please ask those who have drawn the same lottery to stand for a moment. Teacher He came out to take charge of the overall situation. When shouting accompany, 5 people stood up. They are young man Shen Qingqing, sweet girl Su Xiun, Hong Kong singer Chen Feng, Zhen Yunbin and Zhang Mi are also among them. Those who were drawn to take care of were Gu Huayan, child star and actor Xiang Ziyi, sister Zhang Yao, little fox Shen Yuki, and dumb Han Zionji. Seeing this separation, Gu Huayan was relieved. To be honest, he really didn't want to get together with the 2 rappers, Zhen Yunbin and Zhang Mi. They felt that their nerves were a little abnormal and they were often startled. "Isn't this? Oh." When they heard that the 2 of them were together, they clapped their hands in a funny way. Some people are happy, and some are definitely not happy, such as the little clip Shen Qingqing. She pouted and said, "Can you change it? I'm not very familiar with them. I want to live with Brother Huayan." "Ah." Su Xiun laughed after hearing this. She raised her jade hand to flip her pink hair, pursed her lips and said, "You act as if you are very familiar with them. I still want to live with my 2 teammates." As she said this, she protested to the program team. "I don't care, if she changes, I will change too." Shen Qingqing gritted her teeth angrily. To be honest, both she and Su Xiun are a bit teasing, but Su Xiun is obviously higher in rank than her. Sister Qing's little thoughts are always visible on her face, while Su Xiun's is relatively stronger. The 2 of them were quite competitive, but the faces of Zhen Yunbin, Zhang Mi and Chen Feng were a bit ugly. "You 2 act like we really want to live with you." Zhen Yunbin is not a good-tempered man. This brother almost made things awkward when he met Gu Huayan for the first time in Time Singer, let alone now. "That's just right." Su Xiun spread her hands and said with a smile, "Let's draw lots again. Anyway, none of us want to live with anyone else. She just looks sweet, but she is actually just pregnant. To be honest, in terms of coffee status, she is on par with Zhen Yunbin. The attendance rate of their group's concerts is 101%. Every concert is sold out. This kind of female idol you will have some say wherever you go. This cannot be replaced." Teacher He laughed and interrupted their angry conversation. "Tisk, then there's nothing we can do." Su Xiun clapped her hands without even looking at Zhen Yunbin, and said with some regret. Zhen Yunbin's face turned livid, and he couldn't help but glance at Gu Huayan, thinking to himself, why do these women like to hang out for Gu Huayan? That's it for Su Xiun and Shen Qingqing. You didn't see how happy Shen Yuki, the little fox who was playing with Gu Huayan, was almost jumping up. Zhang Yao and Xiang Ziyi were also quite happy. They are both handsome guys. He and Jongmi are not much different in appearance than Gu Huiyan. Even because of the makeup, he feels that he is more refined and handsome than Gu Huiyan. Why do these women like Gu Huiyan and don't want to talk to them? It's quite unbalanced. Boys, when it comes to relationships with the opposite sex, are always somewhat subconscious and naturally competitive. After the houses are divided, everyone can actually put away their things. There are many things in the suitcases that have not been packed yet. It was noon, and they hadn't eaten yet. They couldn't eat until they put away their things. And one more thing. Before the meeting ended, Mother Zhang made a special mention and said, "Let's hold a party in the evening. Each of the two families will perform a show or something. I won't let you do it in vain. The two families compete and battle. Whoever wins can earn 200 yuan, which is an initial capital. Whether it makes money or not, the main reason is that many of the guests are not familiar with each other. Putting on a show together can promote emotional communication among everyone." And when they heard the word PK, the audience became interested. Oh, there's a show to watch. I like to watch this kind of show. I first met Gu Huiyan on the first day of Crystal Love season. Looking forward to my brother's performance. Ah, this isn't fair. Shen Qingqing, who was not happy because of the room allocation, was a little angry when she heard this and said, "Brother Huiyan is so strong, who can beat this big devil?" As soon as these words came out, everyone looked at Gu Huiyan in unison. Indeed, Gu Huiyan can really be regarded as the big devil. Let's not talk about his many masterpieces and talents. Just talk about his gangster-like voice and his singing skills that are second to none in the music industry. Not to mention that he can beat them all. Give all 5 members of their family seconds. This isn't fair. Su Xiun pouted her mouth and nodded, feeling the same. At this time, Chen Feng, the Hong Kong singer next to him, couldn't stand it anymore and frowned and said, "No, we're not that bad. Why do you think we're going to lose?" Chen Feng is a veteran singer. Although he is now an actor in the mainland, he actually started out as a singer and dancer. He also has some music masterpieces. These Hong Kong artists have solid stage performance skills and are quite confident in themselves. They will not be so easy. I feel that I am inferior to others. That's right. Zheng Yunbin himself felt that it was unbalanced. Chen Feng took the lead, so he naturally agreed immediately. By the way, he secretly kicked Zhang Mi, signaling him to follow suit. Zhang Mi's Mandarin is not very good. He half understood and half didn't understand what everyone was talking about, but when Zheng Yunbin kicked him, he reacted and immediately said, "Yep. You didn't understand anything. What are you right about?" Teacher, he was very happy, and his words relaxed the atmosphere a bit. Then, what do you think, Great Demon King? Then, teacher, he actually turned the topic to Gu Huiyan. Everyone's eyes and cameras were also on Gu Huiyan at this time. In fact, he felt that he was getting angry. So what teacher he meant was that everyone on the other side had issued a challenge. Would you like to say a few words to liven up the atmosphere at home? Under the gaze of the camera and everyone, Gu Huiyan scratched his head with a look of helplessness on his face. After thinking about it, he stood up and cleared his throat. Ahem. Just when everyone thought he might say something more pretentious, this kid actually shrugged and spread his hands and said in a shaky tone, "Although I will live with you all for some time to come, I hope our guests will not target me. I come to this show to relax." He said this very calmly, but the tone. It gave many viewers a sense of déjà vu. No. It's not just the tone. Even the words he said seemed so familiar. Why do I feel like I've heard this somewhere? Some viewers were stunned, feeling that these words were so familiar. At this time, a netizen suddenly realized it and posted a barrage saying, "Isn't this the Queen's speech from Siren?" As soon as these words came out, many people reacted immediately. Yes. Isn't this the Queen's speech that Xylin used to introduce herself when she first went to Crystal Love Season? Puff. Ah ha ha ha. Realizing this, netizens laughed like crazy. Barrage blast. Gu Huiyan, you know how to play tricks. Xylin, steamed Chuan Q. I'm telling you, if Siren were here, he would definitely beat him. This kid is so mean. Haha, this is the first time I've seen someone playing tricks on Siren. Xylin is a double actress, a generous red carpet goddess, and has an extremely high status in the industry. She rarely appears in variety shows, and she doesn't seem to be someone who can joke. Under normal circumstances, no one would make fun of her even in person. Gu Huiyan, this old man, is good at playing Xylin's jokes from a distance. This is too funny. Some netizens said that they could see that Gu Huiyan and Xylin were very familiar with each other, and that someone else would not dare to play with Xylin like this. Some people also said that they couldn't find anything wrong with Gu Huiyan's words. When my sister first went to Crystal Love Season, she said that she was too busy with work and went to that show to relax and travel. Gu Huiyan is indeed very busy now, and coming to this show is indeed relaxing. Haha. In fact, many people at the show didn't understand the joke, but Mother Zhang, Teacher He, and Sister Zhang Yao, who was said to be very familiar with Xylin, laughed out loud. I will tell Siren. Sister Zhang Yao covered her mouth and said with a smile. Just kidding. Gu Huiyan laughed and waved his hands, but since he dared to say it in front of the camera, he was definitely not afraid of Xylin knowing about it, and his sister would definitely not care about this. And what he said is also true, he is really just here to mess with it. I used to not understand why Sister Xylin would say that recording shows is relaxing. Recently, he has been extremely busy and sometimes travels to several cities a day. For him, recording variety shows now is really relaxing. One thing Gu Huiyan understands more and more is growing up means slowly understanding what my sister said. The rest of the people didn't know what this joke meant. Mother Zhang and Teacher He told them about it. After they understood it, everyone burst into laughter. The tense atmosphere in the laughter weakened a bit. How about this? Seeing that PK battle was prone to problems, Mother Zhang simply stood up and took charge of the overall situation and said, you can perform whatever you want. In the end, we will give you scores and decide how much money to give each of you. It counts as an individual battle, not a group battle. Isn't this fair? We can also organize some group shows. After all, they are old friends for many years. Teacher He immediately got what Zhang Ma liked, pointed at Han Xianji, Su Xiun, and Shen Yuqi and said with a smile. For example, you girls can form a group to dance or something, and you can split the earnings equally. To put it bluntly, the purpose of their program is to entertain people. If the PK smell is too strong, it will be boring. In fact, some people are. When gathered it is a ball of fire, when scattered it is a sky full of stars. For example, Su Xiun, Shen Yuqi, and Han Xianji. The three of them are originally in the same group. Performing a show together can kill countless people. They all expect them to be on the same stage. If they are separated into two houses and cannot be combined, it will be meaningless. Everyone agreed with this suggestion and nodded. Okay, let's do this first. After deciding, Mother Zhang stood up and said, let's go pack our luggage first. Finish it quickly and come over for lunch. What time is it? I'm starving. They arrived not too late, but they had been holding a meeting chatting for a long time while waiting for Gu Huiyan to arrive. It was already past 12 o'clock. These guests have a lot of stuff, especially the female guests, and I don't know how long it will take to clean it up. Good. Everyone responded and dispersed to carry their suitcases. It is worth mentioning that before leaving, the little sister Xiang Zi, who looked a little reserved, pulled Shen Qingqing, Su Xiun and other girls and said, "I want to form a band with my sisters, and then we can." Performing on stage is a common occurrence for singers and idols. But it's quite difficult for actors. You can't give them a performance without physical objects, right? Actors are really good at acting behind the scenes. If they really move to the stage and suddenly pull someone to cry and scream, it will be very embarrassing. There are only a few actors here, and they don't really need help, so Xiang Zi doesn't feel safe and wants to enlist the help of her sisters. Here we can see how advanced the acting class Su Yuntang took when he was performing in Crystal Love Season. Not every actor can perform in a reality show without being embarrassed. Okay. Before Su Xiun said anything, Shen Qingqing agreed immediately. She had not thought about what she wanted to perform, so it would be nice to get a few people to perform together. "Where's Sister Xiun?" Xiang Zi went to ask Su Xiun again. Su Xiun originally wanted to say that she could just dance with Han Zionji and Shen Yuki, but when she looked at Zi's pure eyes, she couldn't bear it, so she said, "Let me ask for you." Yeah. Xiang Zi is quite happy and feels that her sisters are all very nice. When they were chatting, Gu Huiyan happened to be nearby. Hearing this, he smiled and said nothing. He just felt that the little sister Xiang Zi was too innocent. "Teacher Gu, can you help me move a suitcase?" At the right time, a gust of fragrant wind blew over, and Sister Zhang Yao, dressed in a floral dress, came over, winked at Gu Huiyan and said with a smile, "How about I don't tell Xylin that you are playing tricks on her? You act like you don't know if you don't tell her." Gu Hui felt relieved and pointed at the camera while helping Zhang Yao lift a suitcase. "This is a live broadcast." Pook. The elder sister chuckled, pushed Gu Huiyan, and they went out together. "Hey, Teacher Xiaogu, we need help too." Shen Yuki dragged Han Zionji and walked very slowly. Just a step too late, Gu Huiyan and Zhang Yao had already left with their suitcases. Shen Yuki pouted, pushed the stunned Han Zionji, and said, "Can you stop being so stupid? Why do you always look like you can't wake up except when you're drinking? I'm impressed with you. Han Zionji is very interesting. When she drinks, she looks very different from how cute she is. When she doesn't drink, she looks like she is sleepy. She looks cold, but she is actually in a daze. Let me help." Xiang Zi helped Shen Yuki carry Xiang Zi very honestly. Her small stature carried 2 boxes that were not proportional to her size, which made some viewers feel unbearable. Shen Yuki must have been embarrassed to ask her to move it, so she hurried over and grabbed it. This family is quite interesting. At the same time, airport. Pei Jingshu wore a mask, sunglasses, and a hat, covering her face that could be said to be a disaster for the country and the people. She walked out of the airport with her assistant in a low-key manner and got into the program cruise car. "There was an earthquake in my house last night, friends. Oh my God. I didn't know until I woke up. I am so surprised. Woo woo woo. In urgent need of monthly tickets and rewards to calm the injured young mind. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 237. Gu Huiyan's family's name is Care. It is located in a small courtyard in the west. It is also built near the sea. It has 3 cabins, and in the middle is a 2-story building with a terrace, which looks like a place where you can enjoy the scenery. Pretty good. Next to it are 2 penthouses. They are not big, just bungalows, but they are well decorated inside. The beds and bathrooms are all built according to hotel accommodation standards. They also have air conditioning. In fact, they are almost like staying in a seaside B/U0026B. Where are you going to stay? After everyone arrived, Sister Zhang Yao asked everyone. I do whatever I want. You can divide it up. Just call me after you finish dividing it. Gu Huiyan threw down his suitcase and threw it on the sofa. He just said that he was here to relax and rest, so he just didn't let him work. Shen Yuki giggled and pulled Han Xianji and said. We want to live upstairs. The yard is close to the sea. You can see the sea view from the second floor of the small building. You can see far away if you live high up. Then you can watch the sunrise at home without getting up in the morning. Who wouldn't want to live upstairs? Stretching out her hand to Zi, my sister finally didn't dare to say anything. Zhang Yao noticed it, she smiled and said. My sister and I also want to live upstairs, otherwise we'll have to deal with it. Whoever wins gets to live there. Zhang Yao and Xilin are probably the same type of women, they are both sisters, but in terms of personality, Zhang Yao and Xilin are still different. Sister Xilin has a non-competitive, indifferent character. If faced with this kind of room allocation, she would not grab it, but would give it to them, because it doesn't matter where she lives, and the queen never bothers to grab things from others. My sister was once asked in an interview what to do if someone steals your man's love from you. As a result, Xilin said domineeringly and casually. Leave it to her. There are plenty of men. This is Siren. But Sister Zhang Yao was more real. She made no secret of her intention to live on the second floor, and competed openly with Shen Yuki and the others. Oh, Sister Zhang Yao, just give it to us. Seeing that Xiang Zi didn't speak, Shen Yuki still whined and asked Zhang Yao. As a result, Zhang Yao actually shook her hand and said. What should I do? My sister also wants to live on the second floor. Gu Huiyan got goosebumps when he heard this, and couldn't help but said in his throat. Then if that's the case, then, they also want to live on the second floor. He clamped down and silenced everyone. Roll. Zhang Yao pinched Liu's waist and gave Gu Huiyan a big eye roll. Her sister was not polite at all. Ha ha ha. The audience was delighted and commented one after another. Gu Huiyan, you kid is holding a piece of chicken feathers, who are you so disgusting with? I almost vomited just now. I didn't expect that you, Mr. Gu, is still a deadbeat. You should change your name to Gu Jiazi from now on. After Gu Lulu and Gu Huaqiang, Gu Huiyan has a new nickname called Gu Jiazi. I think we should stop guessing. Let's do this. Gu Huiyan smiled and said. Let's vote to decide who lives on the second floor. Anyway, it's just you two groups. That makes sense. Han Xianji gave a rare nod to support Gu Huiyan's idea. You're doing a good job with your calculation. Zhang Yao couldn't help but laugh out loud. Her sister put her hands around her chest, crossed her two jade arms, and said with a somewhat interesting smile on her face. There are 5 of us in total, 2 in each group. We must all vote for ourselves. Isn't your vote the key to deciding which of us will live on the second floor? Yes. Shen Yuki pouted her little mouth, and the little fox pointed at Gu Huiyan with a green finger and said. Okay, Teacher Gu, why are you waiting for us here after such a long time? You want us to all fawn over you, right? For a moment, Gu Huiyan didn't know how to explain. He just said righteously. Our family must be free and democratic. If there is a dispute, the minority will vote and the majority will follow. Isn't it normal? Stop coming. However, several girls didn't like him at all. On this point, they are actually quite united. Come on, guess the game. Shen Yuki directly took Zhang Yao to guess the box. Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently, and netizens expressed. Gu Huiyan's family status is almost 0. Little teacher Gu kept shouting, Human rights are not given at all. There are times when my family has such embarrassing eyes, ha ha ha. Shenyuki won the guessing game. This little fox was pretty lucky. Yeah. She was so happy that she jumped up. Look. At this moment, Gu Huiyan came over and said to Zhang Yao. Sister Zhang Yao, if you had agreed to my voting proposal just now, I would have voted for you. Now you will live on the second floor. My sister was amused. She rolled her eyes at Gu Huiyan and said with a smile. You are looking at us losing. If we win, will you tell them this? Then, definitely not. Gu Huiyan waved his hand. Snort. The elder sister snorted, gave him a charming look, and spat. Fool on the wall. After saying that, she took Xiang Zi to the next room to store her luggage without looking back. With his hot face pressed against his cold buttocks, Gu Huiyan curled his lips angrily and turned around to congratulate Shenyuki and Han Xianji. This wallflower. The audience could hardly stand it anymore. But one thing to say, it's quite fun. Everyone gradually discovered that Gu Huiyan's program effect is no longer as simple as the aesthetics of violence before, and he has also begun to play some jokes. He has a strong sense of variety show. It took me less than half an hour to pack things up. A message was sent in the group saying that there was a dinner party, so Gu Huiyan and the others packed up and went over. Lunch was not much of a fuss. It was just a working meal prepared by the program team. Everyone only had one bite to eat as a box lunch. Most people didn't eat much, but Gu Huiyan. That, is there any more? Others had half a portion before they could finish it, but he finished one portion first. I am so amused to everyone. After dinner, it was too hot at noon, and the sun was so hot at noon that my skin was almost burning. Gu Huiyan didn't have the heart to continue wandering, so he went back to rest with Sister Zhang Yao and the others. There is a saying that the family that Gu Huiyan and the others take care of are actually quite yin-yin, and everyone except him is female. Of course, the most tempting one was Shenyuki. After returning home, the five of them gathered in the room to chat and rest. She was just lying barefoot and naked on the sofa with a pair of white, long, straight, and thin legs. Very eye-catching. Gu Huiyan couldn't help but look at it a few more times, and he had to say that it was indeed a good leg. In fact, the thing that Gu Huiyan remembered most about Shenyuki was the war-damaged black silk she wore backstage at the concert. She really knew how to wear it. Of course, she didn't stay long, because after a while Han Xianji came over and took her to the dance line. They wanted to dance together in the evening. The little sister Xiang Zi didn't come back with them. She said she ran across the street to find Shen Qingqing and Su Xiun for help, hoping to form a band. Gu Huiyan and Zhang Yao were the only ones left at home. Have you decided what show you want to perform tonight? At this moment, Zhang Yao came over with a cup of coffee and handed it to Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan waved his hand to express that he was not used to drinking. He still felt comfortable drinking some boiled water. You can just sing any song. Gu Huiyan was lying on the sofa as if his body had been hollowed out and said. It's so serious that it feels like bullying. In fact, there is no need to be too serious when performing on this kind of variety show. Gu Huiyan often sang half a song in Crystal Love season before, so he was not very serious about acting. Don't talk about Versailles. If you look at the quality of the albums he released later, and then look at the ones on Crystal Love season, you will know whether he sang casually. He is so strong and serious that he really bullies people. Oh, are you so confident? One of my sister's legs rested lightly on the other. Although it was covered by the skirt, the plump feeling was still very prominent. Gu Huiyan was non-committal. He held the cattail leaf fan given by Sister Jo during the day and fanned it gently. There were some things that did not need to be explained. I heard that you and Xylin are going to make a movie together. The conversation ended here again. After talking about this topic so many times, Gu Huiyan didn't want to bring it up anymore. It was too superficial, so he just chatted with Zhang Yao for a few words as if to deal with it. Compared with this matter, Gu Huiyan was more curious about. How did you and Sister Xylan meet? Zhang Yao always mentions Xylan in front of Gu Huiyan, as if they are familiar with her, so Gu Huiyan will naturally be curious. We have filmed together, and then we live relatively close to each other. We often have dinner and beauty appointments together when we have nothing to do. It seems that Xylan won an award in a drama a few years ago. Zhang Yao was her supporting role. In the drama, the two played the roles of good sisters and best friends. Because their personalities were so compatible, they became quite good friends outside the drama. Xylan is quite sober and is better than me. Speaking of Xylan, Zhang Yao couldn't help but flipped her hair with emotion and said so. Why did you say this? Gu Huiyan was curious. Zhang Yao smiled, looked at Gu Huiyan strangely, and then said. A wise man doesn't fall in love. She doesn't fall in love or get married. She has her own career and her own pursuits. Men are always her choice, and they are not worthy of attachment. Isn't that just sober? As soon as these words came out, Gu Huiyan didn't know how to answer them. Ha ha. The audience was actually happy, and everyone expressed. Is Zhang Yao making a mockery of her ex-husband? So what exactly does marriage do to a woman? These days, there's no one female celebrity who can't stay away from her. Zhang Yao's ex-husband is also an artist. The two of them also met while filming. The other person is older than her, has a lower celebrity status than her, and is much worse than her in terms of traffic, popularity, and reputation. But how to put it? I don't know why I was blind at first, but I fell in love with him and decided to get married. A bit of a love brain. The good news of pregnancy came out within half a year of her marriage. From pregnancy to childbirth to confinement and raising children, Zhang Yao was unemployed for 3 or 4 years. You know, for a female star who is in her prime, how precious 3 or 4 years are. Originally, she and Xylan were in the same position, but she got married and had a child. When she came back, her career was almost ruined. Not many directors she knew at the time were willing to use her. On the other hand, Xylan is still on the rise, and now she is a double-acting actress with highly acclaimed acting skills. She is a national goddess with high national popularity, and good scripts are given priority to her. At that time, Zhang Yao could not be said to be too unbalanced. She did lose her career, but at least she had a family and children. But who knew that at the end of last year, her husband was photographed having a secret meeting with a female internet celebrity in the middle of the night, and was beaten to death by the paparazzi. Zhang Yao was heartbroken. She divorced her husband and had no children. Now that her husband is gone, she has to get permission from her ex-in-laws even to see the children. She is often smeared by her ex-in-laws, saying that she never sees the children. She also wanted to see it, but they wouldn't let her. This is also the reason why Zhang Yao took the opportunity to say something like a wise man never falls in love in front of the camera, just to scold her ex-husband's family. In short, in the end, Zhang Yao didn't miss anything, and everything was in vain. There is nothing good about men. Not sure if she was talking about superiority, but Zhang Yao punched him as he spoke. Ahem. Gu Huiyan almost choked on his mouthful of water and couldn't help but say. Sister, what, I'm a man too. Ha ha ha. This sentence caused a burst of laughter, and one said that Gu Huiyan was considered a good man in everyone's minds, at least he was good to Pei Jingshu. Zhang Yao also giggled and said sorry. In the past, she never understood why Xylan was not interested in dating and getting married. She focused on her career. Occasionally she would advise Xylan to be braver when she saw a good boy, especially someone like Su Yuntang. This kind of quality man. But later after she experienced this, she realized how sober Siren was. A woman cannot rely on a man for everything. Gu Huiyan nodded after listening, feeling that the Xylan described by Zhang Yao fit the image of Xylan in his heart. Just like that night in Yunnan, Xylan would push him away without hesitation. She would also drink and become obsessed with love, but she would restrain her impulse, not just because she knew it was wrong, but also because she doesn't want to attach her heart to any man. But she can't always be alone. At the end of her words, Zhang Yao pursed her lips and laughed. In fact, she wanted to say that even if Xylan didn't want a husband, it would be best to have a child. People will age, and it would be unreasonable to have no offspring. She disgusted her ex-husband to death, but the children still liked her very much, and they would still talk via video chat occasionally. Of course, the reason why she said this to Gu Huiyan was actually because she wanted to say, it felt like Xylan liked him quite a lot. Some time ago, Xylan was in Shanghai, and the two of them made an appointment for a beauty salon. When they were doing facials together, mentioning Gu Huiyan, the little brother, she felt that Xylan was always in a good mood and had a good tone of voice. It gave Zhang Yao the feeling that Xylan had a crush on him. You know, in the past, even if he was a gentleman like Su Yuntang, whom they knew very well, who was also very elegant and personable, Xylan would not talk too much when talking about him. But talking about Gu Huiyan says a lot. Zhang Yao teased her at that time, saying that she didn't expect you to like your younger brother. Xylan was still blushing at that time. When they met this time, Zhang Yao really felt that Xylan had a reason to like him. This little brother was quite real and sensible. He looked young but felt quite mature and reliable. The key was that he was talented and humorous. She is also very down-to-earth, which is the type that Xylan likes. It's a pity he has a girlfriend. Otherwise, even Zhang Yao would like to have a taste of his younger brother. Anyway, she has really let herself go completely. She definitely has no plans to get married in this life. As a young and fresh-faced brother, she can also slap her ex-husband's family in the face. The two chatted for a while, and it was noon. Gu Huiyan was so sleepy that he simply went to his room and took a nap. I don't know if it's because he's too busy and tired from work. Gu Huiyan obviously doesn't have that much motivation to go on the variety show this time, so he always wants to go to bed and rest. The audience couldn't stand it any longer. Many people expressed their hatred for Steele. They all came to see you, but you ended up sleeping live. What about your hair shape? You need to straighten up your hair. You're such a salty fish, I'm so convinced. Gu Huiyan used to say he was the king of roles, he was also doing crazy work, but now this kid gives people a kind of the feeling of being at peace with the world. It's ruined. Too bad. There is no one left. Actually, it's hard to talk about this matter. Maybe it's not that Gu Huiyan doesn't want to do the work, but that the work that should be done at the beginning has been almost done in Crystal Love season. The audience has seen everything they should see, and even if they see it now, it won't feel that fresh. For example, at lunch now, no matter how fast or loud he shows off, the audience just smiles, because these are expected, not unexpected. In this case, Gu Huiyan would look a bit awkward and deliberate if he didn't do anything hard. Everything in this world is a freshness. If you watch a variety show for a few seasons and you think it's pretty good, but after a few seasons you won't want to follow it even if the lineup hasn't changed. It's not because it's not good at filming. But if you take too many photos, it will no longer be fresh. The ones that are off the air are okay, but the ones that don't want to go off the air and change the lineup like crazy to attract the audience's attention and freshness are bad. As for Gu Huiyan, he would rather mess things up than have nothing to do. What's more, he was also really tired. Gu Huiyan really wanted to sleep for 2 days these past 2 days. He had only taken 2 or 3 days off during the Chinese New Year since October last year, and now he really didn't want to do anything. Even in the evening, Jiang's mother said that he didn't bother to do the performance carefully because of everyone's ability. When a staff member from the program team came to ask, he said that it would be enough to prepare a piano, guitar, etc. for him, and he didn't need any lighting or stagecraft to do it by himself. Xiao Yan is showing off in this wild area. At this time, when the camera is shown to others, the audience will feel a bit of a contrast. If you look at the accompanying family next door, it may be because the female guests favored Gu Huiyan during the meeting. Even if it is not a family battle, Zheng Yunbin, Chen Feng, Zhang Mi and the other guys were still serious. Zheng Yunbin and Zhang Mi recited their rap lyrics. Even Shen Qingqing followed Xiang Ziyi to recruit people to form a band. Everyone is more serious than the other, but he is the only one who cares about Huiyan and is messing around. Does this make sense? Some people say that Gu Huiyan has drifted away and loves to be lazy just like Zhang Shuo. Except for not having a concave look and playing awkwardly, there is no difference between him and Zhang Shuo. Some people also say that Gu Huiyan may have been a bad person to begin with, but he is not good at all. Anyway, he said everything, but the black man showed his chicken feet again. Gu Huiyan saw too many such black men on his way here. Do you want Gu Huiyan to say it? Then Gu Huiyan will definitely want to say, whether it is a mule or a horse, you can take it out for a walk at night and then talk about it. If you have the ability, come and sell the goods. If you don't care about life and death, then do whatever you want. If you have the ability, do it. It doesn't mean that no matter how well prepared or serious you are, you will definitely be better than others. No one cares about the process. Everyone in this world always cares about the results. Test scores are judged, work is judged by performance, who cares whether you have worked hard or not? Famous kung fu superstars say that when he was a child, he would practice 200 times when others would do 1000 times. This is not to be lazy, but if you have practiced 200 times to achieve the effect of 1000 times, why do you still practice 1000 times? Gu Huiyan went to bed anyway, he was quite confident. He had the privilege of cheating in a systematic way, and he had the confidence to show off. Only. What Gu Huiyan didn't expect was that when he got up, Sister Xiang Ziyi was wiping her tears. What happened? Why are you crying? Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Bulletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 238. It's pretty cool to mess up. Lying in bed, no one disturbs you, and you sleep all afternoon. There may be cameras filming, but who cares? When Gu Huiyan woke up, it was already about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It couldn't be said to be evening outside and it couldn't be dark outside. It was still very bright. In Hainan in May, it would be nice to get dark at 7:30. In the afternoon, the window of the wing room where Gu Huiyan lived was in a good position. The sunlight was refracted slantly through the window of the bungalow and fell on the wooden table in front of the window. It was inexplicably quiet. Hoo-hoo. The small courtyard is located by the sea, and the slightly humid sea breeze blows in, which is quite pleasant to you. Gu Huiyan was very glad that he did not turn on the air conditioner, otherwise he would not be able to feel the natural sea breeze. Aha! He yawned, sat up and looked at the time. It was already 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and someone in the group was already talking about what happened at night. After all, he was here to record the show, so he just needed to sleep for a while, but he couldn't really sleep until night, which Gu Huiyan still had. So he sat up and rubbed his messy hair and face, forcing himself to wake up. Stepping on my flip-flops, I walked out the door leisurely. Gu Huiyan originally thought there would be no one outside, but it turned out that everyone seemed to be in the living room on the first floor of the 2-story building. Sister Zhang Yao, Shen Yuqi, Han Xianji, and Xiang Ziyi were all there, but something seemed to have happened. Zhang Yao, Shen Yuqi, and Han Xianji were surrounding Xiang Ziyi, saying something unknown, and then Xiang Zi. Seems like crying? What's wrong? Gu Huiyan went in sleepily, not knowing what was going on. Why did he cry while recording a show? No. It's okay, brother Gu, it's okay. The little sister shook her head stupidly, and looked like she didn't want Gu Huiyan to worry about it. She waved her hands and walked into the room and sat down, with her back to Gu Huiyan, for fear that Gu Huiyan would be embarrassed when he saw her crying. What's going on? Gu Huiyan glanced at Shen Yuki, but the little fox looked complicated and did not answer her, but pulled Han Xianji away. What's going on? Gu Huiyan was a little confused. Why didn't these two people want to tell him? Sister Zhang Yao. Gu Huiyan, who looked confused, could only turn his head to look at Zhang Yao. Zhang Yao sighed helplessly and told Gu Huiyan the whole story. Isn't there a show tonight? Xiang Zi is very naive and wants to get a few girls to form a band together. At that time, Shen Qingqing and Su Xiun agreed to come, and Sister Qing also said that she could ask other people for help. Originally Xiang Zi and Shen Qingqing went to ask everyone together, but Xiang Zi left temporarily because he had to take a business photo shoot, and Shen Qingqing went to ask everyone alone. Sister Qing, she is also a bit cautious. She felt that if Xiang Zi said she wanted to sing a song and others followed her and formed a band, wouldn't they all become Liu Yi to serve as her foil? How could they do it if Xiang Zi stole all the limelight of their performance? So when our sister Qing told everyone about this, she omitted Xiang Zi and did not mention Xiang Zi. She said that she wanted to form a band and asked everyone if they were interested. She is also a bit stupid. A little clever, but not much. Then she doesn't want to be a green leaf herself, why does others want to be? Others will definitely not be happy either. Almost no one wants to play in any band with them. After asking around for a while, Shen Qingqing was very depressed because of the thankless performance. She simply gave up and didn't want to perform any show. After all, she was accompanying the family, and she had to make money at night. Su Xiun was so angry when she saw her in such a mess that she simply gave her an idea. Let her change the plan, everyone sings a few lines, and makes some professional arrangements and so on. She can even call a few professional musicians to give them some advice on the arrangements and so on. Sure. After hearing this, Sister Qing's eyes lit up and she almost agreed. She may not have a chance to perform personally, but at least she won't have no chance to perform. Su Xiun really has nothing to say. She really helped find a few first-line singers, very famous ones, to give advice on the arrangement, and she actually compiled a very good song. One of them was on tour. How could she have the time and space to do this thing if it wasn't for her sake? In short, in the end, what was originally the simplest idea of forming a band was made extremely complicated by Shen Qingqing and Su Xiun. But the female guests were quite satisfied. Shen Yuki and Han Xianji both agreed that they could have some fun and perform more shows to earn more money at night. There must also be competition in the program. Then, when Xiang Zi came back from filming a business trip, she received a notification from Shen Qingqing that the band might not be formed the way she did, and asked her if she wanted to play with her sisters. If she wanted to, we could, but if she didn't want to, then, well, you can play it yourself. We won't take you with us. Xiang Zi's original intention was to sing a song by herself, but she would definitely not be happy if they manipulated her like this. This little girl is so innocent that she doesn't have much thought at all, and she doesn't even think about singing and forming a band for someone else to be a green leaf for her. If she really thought about this, she might just play the accompaniment, but it's not impossible to play it. She just wanted her sisters to play together and communicate with each other on the first day of recording the show together. Who knew that Sister Qing would go through such trouble? Fortunately, the idea she proposed turned out to be a show for others to perform, but she couldn't participate in it. Shen Qingqing and the others, on the other hand, used other people's suggestions and didn't even play with them. Then can Xiang Zi not feel aggrieved? This little girl looked naive, but she actually had a pretty strong personality. Shen Qingqing wanted her to compromise so that everyone could play together. She could actually compromise, but she just wasn't happy, so she simply said she was quitting. I was happy to quit at the time, but when I think about it later, I get angrier. My proposal was used by others, and I was kicked by others. What is this? So she cried immediately after coming back. In front of the camera, Sister Zhang Yao, Shen Yuqi, and Han Xiangji naturally wanted to comfort them. They only knew it was her proposal when they heard Xiang Zi tell her about it, and they all thought it was Shen Qingqing who started it. Qingqing is really too much. Sister Zhang Yao couldn't stand it anymore. If it wasn't in front of the camera, she would have gone to Shen Qingqing to talk. How could anyone bully someone else's little sister like this? At this time, the barrage is being displayed. Shen Qingqing is such a green tea. I've really disliked her for a long time. That's enough. She's so disgusting. It was obviously someone else's proposal, but they played with it and kicked her out. To be honest, Xiang Zi is right. What she means is that others will accompany her as a green leaf to accompany her. They are all celebrity guests. Who wants to be a green leaf to others? If you don't want to form a group, the worst thing is not to form one. As for using someone else's proposal to kick someone out to disgust people, I think both sides are wrong. The most disgusting thing is Su Xiun. What kind of idea does this woman have? Damn it, I just don't like her and Shen Qingqing. Sure enough, these 2 cups of green tea. Gu Huiyan was asleep and didn't know what happened. But netizens witnessed the whole process. Because of this, netizens are still filled with indignation. They can say anything, and they all make crazy comments from the perspective of a third party's moral high ground. You can say that everyone is wrong, but Shen Qingqing didn't even tell everyone that this was Xiang Zi's proposal. No matter how you scold her, it's an understatement. And the most unexpected thing. The worst thing is not the 2 protagonists Xiang Zi and Shen Qingqing. But Su Xiun. She had forgotten that she brought this matter up to Zi. The reason why she proposed to help Shen Qingqing start a band was because she were a family. For the sake of the collective, she still had the collective spirit of being an idol group. Who knew our sister Qing had been tricked into a trap by her? Now everyone is complaining about her, saying that she is nosy, and calling her some top-tier singer she knows, just like showing off how popular she is. Su Xiun also looked innocent. That's it? After hearing the complete story of this incident, Gu Huiyan was quite angry. Turning his head to look at where Xiang Zi was in the room, the little sister was still holding a tissue to wipe her tears. Okay. Han Xiangji and Shen Yuqi could only continue to comfort them, but there was nothing they could say. On the one hand, they and Su Xiun are teammates, so it's hard to say what's wrong with Su Xiun, right? On the other hand, they are also afraid of being dragged into trouble if they say the wrong thing. They were also a little angry, and wanted to talk to Shen Qingqing, but this was in front of the camera, and their program was live broadcast. These artists, those who are famous, still have basic emotional intelligence, and they all know how to take care of themselves. When most artists encounter this kind of thing, they hope not to get involved, so who would jump into it? It's none of your business, just worry about it. All they could do was comfort Xiang Zi. Well. Gu Huiyan sighed silently. Sometimes, he actually wanted to be like most celebrities and artists, a person with high emotional intelligence and someone who knew how to assess the situation. But it just so happens that his character is relatively straightforward and sincere. I'm angry and don't want to hold it in. You really want to show off, haha. Gu Huiyan shook his head and smiled bitterly, thinking that there was no way he could break it. Younger sister. After hearing the complete story, Gu Huiyan walked in silently. He walked up to Xiang Ziyi and squatted down gently. When Xiang Ziyi wiped his tears and looked at him with red eyes, he said, "First of all, you have to remember that no matter what happens, don't blame yourself, okay?" Xiang Ziyi was stunned when he heard this, and then nodded blankly. "Uh-huh." Gu Huiyan smiled, then raised his hand to rub Xiang Ziyi's head. The little sister's hair was quite clean, but Gu Huiyan's rubbing made it a little messy. "Okay, stop crying." Then Gu Huiyan took out a piece of paper and wiped the tears on her face and said, "How about my brother helping you vent your anger tonight?" Xiang Ziyi was stunned for a moment, not understanding what Gu Huiyan meant. On the contrary, Shen Yuqi, Han Xianji and sister Zhang Yao faintly sensed something was wrong. Oh! The audience's eyes lit up after hearing this. That man, is he serious about it? Ah! He looks so handsome when he says this. He is really good at comforting people. There is a saying that Gu Huiyan stood up at this time and was really manly, especially the words he comforted Xiang Ziyi just now, "Don't blame yourself," which made people feel quite warm. Some people say that Gu Huiyan came out of the hard days of being unknown. It was because he had been exposed to the rain that he would hold an umbrella for others. These words resonated for a while. "Hello." Zhang Yao stretched out her jade hand and gently pulled Gu Huiyan, her eyes signaling him not to get involved blindly. Others were eager to hide from such a bad thing, but it was better for him to dive right in. Plunge it in like a vertical onion. Gu Huiyan grinned, not taking it seriously at all, but instead said to the family including Han Xianji and Shen Yuqi, "Let me make a suggestion. How about we follow what Dan's mother mentioned at the beginning and let the two families PK? What do you think?" As soon as this statement came out, the small living room immediately fell silent. Snapped. Zhang Yao silently held her forehead, a little helpless. "Okay, this is good." Even after trying to stop him, this kid still dived in on his own. Shen Yuqi and Han Xianji's expressions weren't very good either. If it was really a battle between the two families, wouldn't their dance with Su Xiun this afternoon be in vain? Is it realistic to ask them to put on another show temporarily? You should consider our feelings at least, we. Shen Yuqi also wanted to say, we rehearsed the dance all afternoon because they couldn't dance. Is this ridiculous? Unexpectedly, before she finished speaking, Gu Huiyan turned around and interrupted. "Then why don't you stop performing and I'll do it myself?" As soon as these words came out, the barrage exploded. What's the meaning? Gu Huiyan, what do you want to do? Don't tell me you want to fight against 5. Jiao. It's on fire. It's on fire. Bruto, I should be more conscious and be more powerful than me. Where's Gu Huiyan? Oh Wok, I asked why you can't see it, it turns out it's just pretending. Ha ha ha, I really like watching this kind of plot. Maybe in the eyes of many people, Gu Huiyan was a bit stupid for doing this. People just care about things that have nothing to do with him. Why the hell is he just messing around in this muddy water? But there is no way, Gu Huiyan is such a person with a sense of justice, but he just can't bear to see the people around him being wronged. Even though it was the first day they met Xiang Ziyi, Gu Huiyan felt that this little sister was quite innocent and had no bad intentions. Gu Huiyan himself was somewhat of a sister slave, and since his sister had been so wronged, he felt that it would be wrong if he didn't do something. In addition, they are now a family. Even though they are a family on the show, they still have to have some collective spirit, right? Su Xiun looks down on Shen Qingqing so much, but still helps her find someone to arrange and form a band. Why can't he, Huiyan, help his sister vent her anger? Didn't Su Xiun call on several professional musicians and first-line singers to arrange music for Shen Qingqing? Then let's see if Gu Huiyan, who is now the new king, can compose an arrangement that can beat them. Who is not a professional musician or a first-line singer? You. Shen Yuqi was dumbfounded at the time. The little fox knew that Gu Huiyan had always been a very gentle person. He was even drunk by them when he went to their concert before. She also likes to tease Gu Huiyan when she has nothing to do, sending her a picture of her legs and so on. Gu Huiyan's answer is so naive that it gives people the impression of a straight man. But today, Gu Huiyan was tough, which surprised her. Listen to what he said. He said that they didn't need to perform, and he would challenge 5 of them by himself. Before, everyone said he was a big devil and he was still modest, but now it's better to stop pretending. Showdown. Shen Yuqi silently held her forehead, suddenly having a premonition that Su Xiun and Shen Qingqing were going to be in trouble. In the evening, Gu Huiyan directly said in the group at Zhangma, teacher he and the 2 elders that they would change back to group play and that our family did not plan to cooperate with their family. What? When I saw in the group that Gu Huiyan said that he wanted to change the individual battle back to the group battle, the accompanying family members were a little confused. The others were second best, and Su Xiun especially had a big head. She had been rehearsing the dance with Han Xianji and Shen Yuqi all afternoon. If there is a group battle between 2 families, it means that the 3 of them cannot perform together, because they are from 2 families. In other words, they can no longer dance after rehearsing all afternoon. She wants to perform alone. What's going on? Shen Qingqing also pouted her little mouth and said coquettishly. Then I won't be able to form a band. She originally ordered a girls' band. There are only 2 girls in their family, she and Su Xiun. The other 4 girls are all taking care of Gu Huiyan's family. If they are separated, they cannot be together. She and Su Xiun 2 people forming a band. What you should be thinking about now is not the band. Su Xiun couldn't stand it anymore and couldn't help but glare at Shen Qingqing. People say that Xiang is brainless, and she often says that Shang Zuoyan is brainless. Even Shen Qingqing is not that big, and she can't afford even a why is she so brainless. You made Xiang Zi cry. Are you sure you don't want to comfort her? Chen Feng happened to come over to drink water and said something casually. Then she won't come even if I call her. If she doesn't come, she just cries. Do you blame me? Shen Qingqing pinched the willow waist and pouted her little mouth, looking like I have nothing to lose. I think it's because of this that their family suddenly wants to have a family war again. The little sweet girl raised her beautiful hand and licked her pink hair. She looked tired and felt that she had been working hard all afternoon. You're protesting, but you can't just say what he says, right? At this time, Zhen Yunbin also came over. He didn't like Gu Huiyan in the first place, not only because of what happened in the morning, but also because, well, maybe because of Pei Jingshu. He used to really like Pei Jingshu, but Pei Jingshu didn't even look at him, but she started having an affair with Gu Huiyan at the beginning of Time Singer, and later the 2 made a high-profile official announcement. This matter has not yet been resolved with him. On the surface, it seemed that he was quite polite to Gu Huiyan and even gave him a rap salute when they first met. After all, it was in front of the camera, so you had to pretend to show it to the audience. Now it was Gu Huiyan who was causing the trouble anyway, so he simply stopped pretending and said it directly. Yes, won't your 2 teammates protest? Chen Feng said again. Su Xiun had been rehearsing the dance all afternoon, so why not the 2 of them? Because he was worried about Huiyan and his words were invalid. Who would be willing? Of course I protest, but... Su Xiun held her smooth forehead with a jade hand and said with a headache. But Gu Huiyan said that they don't need to play, he will do it himself. Ah! Upon hearing this, these people were stunned. For example, Zheng Yunbin and Chen Feng both have skills. Feeling insulted? What's the meaning? Who do you look down on? He, Gu Huiyan, is the big devil, but he can't fight against 5, right? This kid is too arrogant. Are you really kidding me? This is too contemptuous and arrogant. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 239. Then fight. Zheng Yunbin's temper was also rising. How could he be so insulting? Who do you look down on? In fact, it doesn't matter whether he, Zhang Mi, or Chen Feng compete in a group or individually, they are all individual programs anyway. Zhang Mi hadn't seen anyone all afternoon, and when asked, he said he had held back a big move, so even if it was a group battle, Zheng Yunbin and the others wouldn't be afraid. He, Gu Huiyan, is a new top figure in the music industry, but he is also a singer. They have rappers, dancers, and vocals here. The advantage is that there are many types. Even if Gu Huiyan can sing and compose, even if he sings all new songs, why can he dare to say that he can beat 5? Domestic entertainment is now very diversified. He is just a singer. How dare he say that he can beat all of them who are good at a variety of genres? This time, they will definitely make Gu Huiyan pay the price for his overestimating his own capabilities. Seaside. The location of the entrance to Whale Village. What is this kid doing? Mother Zhang felt dizzy when she looked at the messages from Gu Huiyan and the others on her phone. It was clearly agreed to change the group battle to individual battle, so why did this guy want to change it back temporarily? I heard it was because of Xiang Ziyi. Teacher, he told Mother Zhang about Xiang Ziyi and Shen Qingqing, especially the fact that Xiang Ziyi was made to cry. This Shen Qingqing. Jiang's mother had a headache on her face. Sometimes she doesn't like girls who are a little bit scheming. She is either not scheming or very scheming. A little bit but not much. Isn't this just disgusting? The two were chatting. Buzzing. A commercial vehicle drove over. The car slowly stopped in front of them. Several people got out of the car. Several of them looked like assistants and staff, but only a beautiful figure stood out. She was a tall girl with a good figure and graceful curves. Her shoulder to neck and head to shoulder ratios were perfect. A relatively simple and elegant blue and white dress highlighted her almost perfect temperament. The long black hair is worn casually, giving people the feeling of being a rich daughter or a lady during the Republic of China. The hem of the skirt was very long, and it could reach from her knees to her calves. She didn't expose any flesh, and her edges weren't rubbed at all. But it just happened to be like this, but it seemed to be able to instantly outshine those female stars who wore short shorts and navel-bearing outfits. Like scum. People say the ceiling of pure desire is nothing better than this. Of course, the most amazing thing is her face. It was a face that, even if it was wearing a white mask, could not seal the beauty that was almost overflowing. Jingshu. The moment Pei Jingshu got out of the car, teacher, he greeted her with a smile. Mother Zhang also walked over with a smile. She had something to say. Even when she saw Pei Jingshu, she couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth. This little girl is so beautiful and pretty. The key is that she has a good personality and treats their little Gu very serious. Why bother you two to pick me up? Pei Jingshu smiled politely, but Pei Ya was a little embarrassed. Pei Jingshu is a big celebrity, and her career is even more prosperous due to her song Meet at the beginning of the year, but she doesn't want her two seniors, Zhang Ma and teacher He, to come together to take over, right? No, we just happened to be strolling over. Teacher He said with a smile. Pei Jingshu politely took off her mask and said hello to the two elders. To be honest, if there were cameras at this time, some viewers might feel suffocated just by looking at that face. Pei Jingshu hasn't appeared in a variety show for a long time, so this time she came with perfect full makeup. Her facial features are exquisite and three-dimensional. Her so-called inner entertaining look is not a joke. After applying full makeup to refine her facial features, the exquisite feeling can make people's hearts tremble. People say that beauty nourishes people. Pei Jingshu has become more and more popular recently, and her overall condition is getting better and better. In addition, she is in the period of passionate love, and her face has more smiles and less of the coldness of a cold beauty. Terrible. From skin to bones, from inside to outside, she gives people the ultimate sense of beauty. Jingshu is so beautiful. While chatting, teacher he couldn't help but sigh with Jiang's mother and said, I have known so many people in so many years, but I have never seen anyone more beautiful than her. What he said does not seem to be false. As the host of Orange Channel, Mr. He has been popular for decades. He knows countless female artists who rely on their appearance to make a living, but he has never seen anyone more beautiful than Pei Jingshu. Female star. Her beauty is that she doesn't have to do anything, she doesn't have to have an expression, you just look at her and you'll be amazed for a long time. He. Zhang Ma laughed and said. If I remember correctly, teacher you said the same thing last time you met another female celebrity. Hello. Teacher he's old face darkened, how could he be so disruptive? Haha. Several people laughed out loud. While laughing, he also took Pei Jingshu to put things away along the road that could not be captured by the camera. No one else knows that Pei Jingshu is coming tonight except the two of them. In order to give everyone, especially Gu Huiyan, a surprise, it is better to keep it a secret for the time being and hide it from the camera. On the way, Mother Zhang was holding her mobile phone with a headache on her face. Pei Jingshu was curious about what was wrong, so teacher he smiled bitterly and said. Isn't it because of your family Gu Huiyan? Ah. Pei Jingshu was stunned for a moment when she heard this, and then her pretty face turned slightly red. Teacher he's words your family is caring about Huiyan made her a little unbearable. This kid. Teacher he told Pei Jingshu about Gu Huiyan's 1v5 game in the evening. Pei Jingshu couldn't help but smile. When she smiled, the lines on her face were very beautiful, and there were no pear dimples. Dimples, etc., if they have them, they will affect her beauty. Real beauty doesn't need that stuff. She just nodded and said softly. It's something he would do. The Gu Huiyan she knew was a man with a strong sense of justice. When he was in Yunnan, he could help pick plums at the house of a villager he had known for a few days. How could he remain indifferent now when he saw his little sister being bullied and crying? As for 1 versus 5 or something like that. Pei Jingshu also believes that he has that kind of strength. Don't you want to dissuade me, teacher? He was stunned for a moment and asked. Why do you want to persuade? Pei Jingshu raised a white jade hand, gently brushed her hair on her temples, and said softly. He must have a reason for doing this. She always trusts Gu Huiyan and believes in him. Teacher he was speechless for a moment. For some reason, he felt as if he had been stuffed with a mouthful of dog food. Pei Jingshu is really as good as the rumors say, she has a love brain. He. Mother Zhang was quite satisfied with Pei Jingshu's words. She chuckled and said. What happened tonight is not entirely a bad thing. The rhythm of the internet is quite big now. If this kid can really fight against 5, it will just make the audience vent their anger. Because Xiang Ziyi was cheated by Shen Qingqing, many netizens are now complaining about Xiang Ziyi. If Gu Huiyan wins the team battle at this time, not only will the netizens vent their anger, but it will also allow Gu Huiyan to show off. This program itself was designed for Gu Huiyan. Zhang Ma must give priority to Gu Huiyan. Just now she was only thinking about Gu Huiyan getting involved, but it was Pei Jingshu who said that he must have his reasons for doing this, so Zhang Ma realized. You're not going to let him mess around, are you, teacher? His mouth twitched. Why not? Mother Zhang smiled. For the godmother of domestic entertainment talent shows who are deeply involved in behind-the-scenes work, nothing is more explosive and more gimmick than this show. Just this matter is enough to be the #1 trending topic tonight. Crazy, all crazy. Teacher, he silently held his forehead, thinking that it would be difficult to host tonight. After sending Pei Jingshu to put down her things and rest for a while, Zhang Ma and teacher he took her around the stage and discussed with the PD teacher on site how to let Pei Jingshu appear on the stage. She is a surprise tonight, and she must appear in a special way. Originally, the director at the scene had already thought about letting Pei Jingshu appear as the finale of the singing session. Zhang Ma and teacher he were quite satisfied with the proposal, but after thinking about it for a while, Pei Jingshu asked Zhang Ma, "Can you let me show up early?" At that time, Jiang's mother was stunned and asked why. Pei Jingshu turned red and said with a bit of embarrassment, "Didn't you say that he has to compete with several people alone? I wonder, if I show up early, I can give him some help." After hearing these words, no matter whether it was teacher he, Mother Zhang, or the staff at the scene, or the PD teacher, they all felt as if they had been fed a mouthful of dog food. After a long time of commotion, Pei Jingshu wanted to take care of Huayan and challenge him to a fight. She couldn't bear him facing an entire family alone, so she wanted to share the pressure with him. This love brain. There is a saying, if a beauty like Pei Jingshu treats a man so well, everyone must envy her. Just stop getting involved. It's really unfair if you go. Don't you even have this little confidence in that kid? Zhang Ma smiled bitterly and shook her head, but finally refused. On the one hand, Gu Huiyan's 1 versus 5 is a gimmick, but if Pei Jingshu is gone, this gimmick will no longer hold true. On the other hand, Pei Jingshu is also ridiculously strong. She is now known as the new generation of Little Queen in the music industry. How can you let her and Gu Huiyan, the husband and wife, play together to play opposite each other? When people see you, they might just shoot a 6-pointer. Furthermore, the surprise of her appearance cannot be mixed with those, otherwise the effect will not be so strong. Besides, it's not like Gu Huiyan doesn't have that ability. In this regard, Pei Jingshu seemed helpless and had no choice but to agree. Although it was just a game on a variety show, she still didn't want to see him being beaten by several people. She always felt sorry for him. Evening. About 7 or 8 o'clock. The guests gathered at the seaside in front of a stage set up by the program team. In the evening, the sun sets in the west and the sky gradually darkens, leaving only a little bit of the sunset in the distant sky. Pattering. There is wind on the beach, and the waves keep crashing over, as if they are accompanying everyone, which is quite impressive. On the stage, the lights were brightly lit. The entire stage was illuminated by spotlights, and every guest captured by the camera could see clearly. It is not difficult to see that the guests' fighting spirit is quite high, especially Su Xiun and others who accompany the family. I don't know if they were stimulated by Gu Huiyan's plan to versus 5, but Zheng Yunbin, Chen Feng, and Zhang Mi all looked high-spirited. Relatively speaking, Gu Huiyan and the others seem a bit low-spirited in taking care of the family. On the one hand, Gu Huiyan wanted to versus 5, and Zhang Yao, Shen Yuqi, and Su Xiun did almost nothing. Where did they get the fighting spirit from doing nothing? On the other hand, they may also feel that problems may arise if the rhythm becomes larger and larger, so they may be a little worried. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan, the old man, doesn't seem to have much fighting spirit. He is quite ordinary. He has a sponsor's ice cream in his mouth and occasionally communicates with Sister Xiangzi next to him. He doesn't want to at all. He is a man who is about to 1 versus 5. I didn't even see him practicing his voice. Gulalu, you better be serious and I'll beat you. The audience couldn't stand it any longer and expressed, I came here because I heard there was a good show to watch. Why doesn't it smell like gunpowder? Why do you look at Gu Huiyan looking so unreliable? Okay, this guy behaves like this in any situation. Old fans all know it. Just get used to it. Haha, what I said above is correct. There is one more thing I would like to add, that is, my brother does not need to be serious at all when dealing with these crooked people. The fans of Gu Huiyan's family are pretty good, and when Xiang Ziyi was bullied, Gu Huiyan helped her vent her anger, which also boosted her popularity and emotional value, so now many of them support Gu Huiyan. It's also because Gu Huiyan's 1 versus 5 thing is quite popular, so it attracted a lot of viewers. There was a lot of traffic in the live broadcast room tonight, with 3 to 4 million people. Those who know are watching the live broadcast, and those who don't know are still thinking about watching the concert. Ahem. When Zhang Ma and Teacher He arrived, everyone stood up to greet the two elders. Okay, everyone, sit down, everyone, sit down. Zhang Ma laughed and asked everyone to do it. She was always very calm and not panicked at all. Teacher He briefly chatted with everyone to liven up the atmosphere. Then Zhang Ma smiled and asked Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan heard that you don't want to play individual battles at the moment and want to change to group battles. What's the reason? What other reasons could there be? Gu Huiyan shrugged, pointed to Ziyi, and said. Our sister was bullied, and the elder brother vented her anger. Isn't this natural? As soon as these words came out. Oh! Some people at the scene started to boo. In fact, it is quite lively here. Almost all the staff of the program team are in the audience. Tonight can be regarded as a competition. Without an audience, it will be lively. Mother Zhang simply called some staff to act as live audience and vote for everyone. Determines the outcome. Gu Huiyan's words were very passionate and burning, so naturally they started to boo. Well, let's explain it. Su Xiun pulled Shen Qingqing to stand up and explained, saying that they had no ill intentions and just wanted everyone to have fun together. They did not take into account Xiang Ziyi's feelings that they were wrong, etc. It's a bit formalistic. It sounds quite sincere, but it's just in front of the camera. If there is no camera, how can high-ranking people like them apologize to Xiang Ziyi? Do not make jokes. Especially Shen Qingqing, even if she apologizes now, she still looks reluctant. To put it bluntly, their apology was not to Xiang Ziyi, but to the audience. Steamed fake. Because of this, the audience scolded them again. Fortunately, Zhang Ma and Teacher He, the two peacemakers, came out to adjust the situation and said that it was normal for them to have some misunderstandings on the first day they met, and that it would be fine after they got to know each other. Let me tell you something in advance today. We are competing in a friendly manner. The game is not allowed to escalate to individuals. Mother Zhang smiled and said. Winning or losing depends on one's ability. You are not allowed to be serious off the stage. You cannot hurt your harmony, let alone your feelings. Are you clear? After the words fell, everyone responded one after another. Good. Clear. Maybe Gu Huiyan took this matter seriously, but to put it bluntly, it was all for the sake of the show's effect. It wouldn't hurt your feelings to be hurt or angry. How can there be any real enemies in the entertainment industry? Besides, they don't have any feelings themselves. Damn. It is worth mentioning that before starting, Zhen Yunbin asked specifically. Then if our family wins, won't their family lose a penny? As soon as these words came out. Oh. Someone at the scene started to boo. Zhen Yunbin's words seemed a bit like making trouble. That's for sure. Zhang Ma smiled and nodded, her expression unchanged, but she was actually a little unhappy in her heart. She had just said don't hurt her kindness, and this guy turned around and started to stir up trouble. He made it clear that he didn't take her words seriously. What's even more terrible is that Zhen Yunbin said something else. Then how about this, In order to express our apology, even if we win, the money will be given to their family, and it will be regarded as our apology. As soon as these words came out, oh! Some people at the scene started to boo again. Is Zheng Yunbin inappropriately provoking Gu Huiyan? That meant that Gu Huiyan was overestimating his own abilities and that 1 versus 5 was unrealistic. Since he couldn't win anyway, he would just arrange things after Gu Huiyan lost. The most amazing thing is that his superficial meaning is to apologize to Xiang Zi, which makes it hard for people to find fault. The audience couldn't stand listening and couldn't help but express. What the hell do you mean? You're just pretending. No, I think it's you who overestimates your capabilities. Don't you know what my brother's strength is? Haha, these rappers like to say harsh words before performing. It's quite embarrassing. It's quite funny. Gu Huiyan's popularity and strength are definitely higher than Zheng Yunbin's, but in the end it was Gu Huiyan who was criticized harshly and looked down upon. Gu Huiyan. Mother Zhang couldn't stand it any longer, so she called Gu Huiyan and said, "Everyone has already issued a war message, why don't you say something?" The camera also showed Gu Huiyan at this time. At this moment, Gu Huiyan was munching on a piece of ice cream sponsored by the program team. He looked careless. When everyone looked at him, he grinned and said, "To be honest, it's embarrassing to say harsh words. I really don't want to say it." As soon as these words came out, the whole audience was stunned at first. Then, puff. Ha ha ha. No one could hold back their laughter. Barrage blast. As expected of the oil remover. I'll see if you can do it. Gu Huiyan, I didn't know we used to call it oil remover, right? Is he calling Zheng Yunbin awkward? Ha 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 ha. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x20. After all, it's Gu Huiyan. He always has the ability to speak truthfully and ignite the whole audience. Speaking is also a technical job. Gu Huiyan's words did not make him angry, but instead made fun of Zheng Yunbin's embarrassment. It was quite interesting to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. In response, Zheng Yunbin looked unhappy. To be honest, their family is quite well prepared for tonight. There are rappers, dancers, and vocals. They can sing in several genres, including Cantonese. Even if Gu Huiyan can rap, he must not be able to speak Cantonese, right? Zheng Yunbin even had a killing move in reserve, otherwise he would not dare to provoke Gu Huiyan like this. He was very puzzled as to why Gu Huiyan dared to be so arrogant towards them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 240. I said Gu Huiyan. Some people were booing and others were laughing, but Mother Zhang waved her hand at Gu Huiyan and said, "People are talking about this, why don't you say a few words or do something, otherwise it will appear a bit disrespectful." She understood that Gu Huiyan didn't want to say embarrassing and harsh words, that was just his personality. But the problem is that Zheng Yunbin's speech is too unpleasant, and he doesn't give her face, which makes her very unhappy. Sometimes, you just have to play with a certain momentum, and you can't just avoid it by playing tricks. Gu Huiyan is her artist. Whether she is behind the scenes or in front of the stage, she, Zhang Dan, has never lost to anyone in terms of momentum. She doesn't want Gu Huiyan to lose momentum even before the battle begins. Gu Huiyan hesitated for a moment, smiled bitterly, stopped procrastinating, stood up and walked to the middle of the stage. Taking the microphone from the host, Mr. He. His eyes swept over every guest at Su Xiun's accompanying home. He smiled and said, "I think sometimes, it's useless to say. When he said this, Mother Jiang's face darkened, and she thought to herself, I've hinted to this extent, can't you just say a few harsh words? It's not like you don't have any strength. Go is not such a bad guy, right? She even wanted to accuse Gu Huiyan and say that you should be more showy, but who knows? Next moment, Gu Huiyan actually said these words to the 5 members of Su Xiun's family. I don't like talking, I like doing. Let's not talk about PK and Betel, let's do this. He pointed to the stage under his feet and said. I'm standing here. If any of you can beat me, even if you win, all the money will be yours. How? The words fell. The scene was quiet for a while. Immediately afterwards. Oh. Zundu is fake. Oh. Gu Huiyan, you kid. The scene immediately erupted. Just don't worry about what the guests on the stage think, look, or look on. Just talk about the crowd of onlookers in the audience. One by one, they are all really fired up, okay. Listen to what Gu Huiyan said. I'm standing right here. Whoever has the ability to compete with me will win. Arena battle. Gu Huiyan is equivalent to directly occupying a ring and letting everyone on the opposite side fight, okay. Although everyone knew before that he planned to 1 versus 5, at that time it was a program competition, a whole team, and the final score was used to determine the winner. This is the so-called team battle. It doesn't matter if Gu Huiyan loses to someone alone, it doesn't matter. But now this will war means. Gu Huiyan can't lose a game. Lose one game and lose everything. How confident do you have to be to dare to say something like this, allowing the opponent to fight? What kind of person dares to say something like, you just need to compare with me and you will win? This is so damn hot-blooded. The protagonist of the novel must be like this. Just do it if you don't accept life and death? Absolutely nothing. It's on fire. I'm so on fire. The barrage is going crazy at this time. My brother will be silent and become a blockbuster. Good guy, after a long day of messing around, I gave my boss a surprise in the evening. I really have your Gu Laolu. I'm so hot-blooded. Come here. Kill me and give it to my brother. My girlfriend said that Gu Huiyan had no effect on the show anymore. She didn't want to watch it and asked me to go shopping at night. I broke up with her and now I'm very happy, otherwise I wouldn't be able to watch this scene. Good guy, who said there is no great emperor in the human race. Oh, I spent all 3 years of my girlfriend's savings just to go to Xi'an to watch the 10 years dating concert. Did I say anything? Another human emperor. Ah ha ha ha. The seaside stage has the sea in the background. If you want to say how beautiful the background is, it's not that good. It's dark and the lights are all focused on the stage. The sea is actually invisible. But occasionally waves will come over and hit the beach, which can be clearly seen. Hoo hoo. The sea breeze tonight is also a bit strong, and it will blow some of Gu Huiyan's clothes and hair. He didn't put on makeup, didn't do any styling, and he didn't wear any trendy, big name, luxury, or high-end clothing. Just the image of the most ordinary person. He even waved a cattail leaf fan given by the villagers in his hand. Because he took a nap in the afternoon, his hair was fried, and he also wore a grey peaked cap. At this moment, he only looked at his image. Even if he was not a villager and a passerby, he looked more like a staff member than a star. But I don't know why. At this moment, under the light, Gu Huiyan seemed to shine even brighter than the stars around him. His confidence is not shown on his face, but seems to burst out from his bones, and directly infects every audience watching the show. One Chiuer described Gu Huiyan's hat and said, "This NPC is an old hat." This remark caused a burst of laughter. Let me tell you something, Gu Huiyan's grey peaked cap really has a high appearance rate. When Gu Huiyan first sang a Diao in Crystal Love Season, many people remembered that he sang wearing this hat. There is also a line in a diao called, "Under the grey brim, with sunken cheeks, you rarely speak and answer simply." At that time, many people felt that they were old enough to rise to the occasion. Later, when he sang "Want to See You," including some airport Reuters, rehearsal Reuters, etc., you could see him wearing this peaked cap. Some netizens jokingly said, "When Gu Huiyan puts on his grey peaked cap, it's time to start showing off." This is true. You must know that when this grey peaked cap first appeared, Gu Huiyan's song "A Diao and Troublemaker" immediately reached the top of the hot search list that night, right? Now, when he puts on this grey peaked cap again, fans suddenly feel, back off. This man is going to start showing off. Yes, that's the feeling. So strong. This grey hat really gives people a memory-killing feeling, making people dream back to Crystal Love season. That's where the dream begins. Oh. The scene is always boiling. Zhang Ma looked admired and clapped her hands repeatedly to show her approval. She was really satisfied with Gu Huiyan's approach. This is right. This should be him caring for Huiyan. In fact, as far as she is concerned, sometimes she feels that Gu Huiyan's character is a bit too sick. That's right, he's quite stubborn. I don't want to offend others, I don't want to say harsh words, I'm afraid of being called greasy, I'm afraid of being called embarrassing, and I basically don't do things that aren't requested by others. This doesn't look like a young man at all. A young man of his age should be very aggressive and proactive, like a sharp sword, with the kind of sharp aura that can pierce the sky. It's not like he doesn't have that ability. Do you look at Gu Huiyan now? Gu Huiyan said on the stage at this moment, "Whoever can beat me will win." This was in line with Zhang Ma's expectations of him. Oh ho! Come on! In the audience, Sister Zhang Yao pulled Xiang Zi to cheer for Gu Huiyan. Even Shen Yuqi and Han Xianji really wanted to cheer for Gu Huiyan. What this guy did was so irritating, okay. They were actually afraid of causing trouble and didn't want to wade into troubled waters, but who made Gu Huiyan so passionate about bringing honor to their family? It will definitely not work if you don't support it. Zhang Yao was even taking a video with her mobile phone. She would definitely send it to Xylin later so that she could see how domineering this little brother is. Speaking of which, if she remembered correctly, Xylin clearly told her that Gu Huiyan was a very gentle and peaceful little brother. How could this? Did you become nervous all of a sudden? What's funny is that even Shen Qingqing from the opposite side actually wants to cheer for Gu Huiyan. If Su Xiun hadn't held her down, she would have almost shouted that Brother Huiyan was so domineering and majestic. She almost forgot that Gu Huiyan was targeting her, them. Teacher. He didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Now this scene is completely out of control, okay. But there is one thing to say, this kid Gu Huiyan is so confident. It was at this moment that Teacher he suddenly understood why a beauty like Pei Jingshu was so attracted to him. This boy is really different. He is confident, but not blindly confident. He usually doesn't get ahead easily. As long as he does, he will be a blockbuster. And compared to them, Su Xiun, Zheng Yunbin, Chen Feng, these people who were targeted by Gu Huiyan all looked ugly for a while. Well, Mother Zhang kept saying don't get angry, be friendly, and make money, and the quarrel for a long time turned into a will war. This is not just a sign of anger, just two flints set the whole place on fire, okay. This is not going to end well. Gu Huiyan is well known as a big devil. If he was not very confident, he would not dare to stand on the stage and target them like this. But he was so confident, but it made them look less confident, and their momentum was much weaker. You shouldn't have gone up just now. Chen Feng pulled Zheng Yunbin and whispered. If Zheng Yunbin hadn't insisted on provoking him in the past, Gu Huiyan wouldn't have acted so decisively, and directly said that he would fight them in a face-riding manner. In this case, no matter whether Gu Huiyan wins or loses, even if he really loses, Gu Huiyan is the only one who loses after these 5 well-known artists went toe-to-toe, so he won't be ashamed. On the contrary, it was them, 5 well-known artists who were fighting against Gu Huiyan. Is it something to be proud of if word spread? Winning is disgraceful, losing is even more embarrassing. It's so disgusting. Zheng Yunbin was speechless for a moment. He had never thought that Gu Huiyan would dare to do something so brilliantly. Will War. If you lose a game, you will lose everything. How dare Gu Huiyan do something so absolutely? How the hell do people dare to do this? In fact, he also remembers to eat and not to fight. When Gu Huiyan faced his cynicism backstage at Time Singer, he cut the melon with a knife, and he was named Gu Huaqiang because of it. This is never a loser. At that time, even those who were inferior to him would dare to do this, but now that they are far superior to him, why not let him press him to the ground and rub him? Will battle. What is that? What's funny is that Zhang Mi didn't even understand what it meant. This brother is not from our country, his Chinese is not very good, and his vocabulary is not high. Zheng Yunbin and the others didn't have time to explain to him. At this moment, several of them were thinking, Gu Huiyan must not play Reverse War and then Sunny Day, otherwise they would really not be able to play. Sun. They were afraid of this, and felt that this was the reason why Gu Huiyan was so confident. However, as if Gu Huiyan could see through their intentions, he actually said another sentence. I won't bully you either. I will only sing new songs and not previously released ones. How about that? As soon as these words came out. Oh. The scene is boiling again. Be confident. This kid's confidence seems to be overflowing through the screen, isn't it? The barrage is going crazy at this time. No, Gu Huiyan, have you always been so good at pretending? To have talent means to have confidence. Where's Mr. Gu Huiyan? Oh, you're pretending. Bibbo ran. This is so damn Bibbo ran. He's so pretentious, so cool, so handsome. Some female viewers are nymphomaniacs. To be honest, the ordinary Gu Huiyan may be too down to earth. There are female fans, but not many, and most of them are not because he is handsome. But today, for some reason, even though Gu Huiyan looked ordinary without makeup or dressing up, they felt that this kid. So handsome. So humming handsome. How do you say that? He's so cute. I love him so much. Yes, that's what it means. Some male fans also said that no wonder Sister Pei likes him. Perhaps until this moment, many people suddenly understood that Gu Huiyan had never been ordinary, but he was usually too down to earth, which made everyone subconsciously think that he was ordinary. He can write Sunny Day, Meeting, and other popular works, but he has never been ordinary. Of course, the biggest gimmick at this time is definitely not that Gu Huiyan can pretend to be cool, but new song. New song. He said that in this will battle, he would sing all new songs, and he would not sing any of them before he had released them. What kind of talent does it take for him to sing 4 or 5 new songs in one performance? It's absolutely amazing. Zheng Yunbin and Su Xiun's expressions were uncertain for a while, which must be quite ugly. They didn't even think about it. Just when they thought that Gu Huiyan should not sing Sunny Day and Reverse War, he turned around and said that he wanted to sing a new song. Don't ask why Gu Huiyan didn't sing his masterpiece. Why do they still look bad? Because of this matter. It's not worthy of their happiness at all. Gu Huiyan's new work is a plus for him, never a minus, okay. Is there any one of his works that is not good to listen to or of low quality? His new work itself is the biggest gimmick, and when he uses his new work, it's like bullying people, right? To respond to their will war with 4 or 5 new songs, this alone is enough to ignite the whole audience, right? But the problem is, they couldn't say anything. Oh, people bully people when they sing their masterpieces, but they still bully people when they sing new songs. So what? Stop singing. If singing is bullying, why not do nothing and let you win? That's it. They are always depressed. At the same time. Backstage. Laugh. Looking at Gu Huiyan, who was so flamboyant and unbridled on the stage, Pei Jingshu couldn't help but smile. To be honest, this was the first time she had seen Gu Huiyan like this. He rarely took the initiative to provoke others and always looked gentle. Quite a contrast. But I have to say, Gu Huiyan is so charming. I don't know why, Pei Jingshu suddenly felt very proud. He is the protagonist tonight? And that protagonist is her boyfriend. At this moment, instead of looking forward to Gu Huiyan's surprise reaction when he saw her, Pei Jingshu was looking forward to seeing Gu Huiyan fight against 5 well-known artists by himself, and still win and remain standing. To be honest, Pei Jingshu really wanted to stand on the stage and watch him, or even accompany him. If she were here, no one would dare to provoke Gu Huiyan. Okay, come on. Teacher, he wasn't ready to go through the process yet, but Mother Zhang couldn't wait any longer. She shouted. I say, Su Xiun, you all need to show some real skills, otherwise you will really lose this game. What she said actually meant to cheer Su Xiun and the others. As a senior, Zhang Ma would like a bowl of water. That's for sure. Su Xiun flipped up her pink hair, pinched Lu Yao and smiled. Do you really think we are soft persimmons? As she said that, she rolled her eyes at Gu Huiyan. It can be regarded as adjusting the atmosphere. In fact, their atmosphere should not be so awkward or so explosive. Even if Gu Huiyan said he wanted to versus 5, it was just a friendly match on the show. They had nothing to celebrate, so how could it be so explosive? But who made Zhen Yunbin insist on provoking Gu Huiyan, and Zhang Ma also encouraged Gu Huiyan to cause trouble. Now, it doesn't end well. In fact, the best way to end it is for them to win against Gu Huiyan in the 3rd and 4th games. That way it can be said that both sides are evenly matched and there will be no embarrassment. But it was obvious that Gu Huiyan had no intention of letting go. They had no choice but to show their true skills. Come on, challenger. Teacher, he gave up his position directly and gave the center position of the stage to Gu Huiyan. Since you want to be the champion, you must first show some real skills and let everyone see. Teacher, come here. As soon as teacher he left, Gu Huiyan immediately waved to the staff. Then, everyone saw that the staff came up with some drums and began to assemble a drum set in the center of the stage. What is this for? Some people are a little confused. Gu Huiyan explained. I play the drums. As soon as these words came out, the barrage exploded directly. Okay. Everyone is binge watching. Really? You can also play the drums. My Zhao, this is the rhythm that is going to ignite. A blind guess, the style of the new song should be similar to Reverse War. Recently, a new song by Gu Huiyan is Sad People Don't Listen to Slow Songs. The style of this song is quite passionate. In fact, Gu Huiyan has always been good at writing similar songs. The previous Reverse War and Stubborn were all like this. All pretty good. If it were to open with a song of this style, it would be no different from using Reverse War to blow up the scene. Indeed. As everyone expected, Gu Huiyan chose such a song. He even found the musical instrument subdivision of drum set in the system mall and spent more than 2,000 points to master it. Gu Huiyan hasn't used the system for a long time. He can hardly use it except to change songs. Looking back, he has a lot of points in the system mall, more than 40,000. Otherwise, Gu Huiyan would not dare to say that he would use 4 or 5 new songs to compete tonight. Zhen Yunbin and others. Bring it on. When the staff assembled the drum set, Gu Huiyan sat in front of the drum with drumsticks. Younger sister. Before starting, Gu Huiyan glanced at Xiang Ziyi. She might have cried in the afternoon. The little sister's eyes were still a little red, and her makeup was not covering it up. When Xiang Zi heard the sound, she was stunned. Her eyes were very clear. Under the brim of his grey hat, Gu Huiyan grinned and said, "Look at my brother venting his anger on you. I will fight against fate and show you the victory." The words fell. Oh! The whole place was immediately ignited. Gu Huiyan didn't talk nonsense. With the microphone in place, he said bluntly, "Let me give you a sample first. This song is called Possessed. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth." Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 241. Dudu. The sounds of musical instruments came from the speakers. The reason why Gu Huiyan chose the song Possessed was, on the one hand, it was enough to open the show or even blow up the scene, and on the other hand, it was also because it's cheap. Speaking of which, the system is really becoming more and more intelligent. When Gu Huiyan used it today, he discovered that it can actually copy the produced music directly to the computer. Of course, this doesn't come without a price. It costs, well, it costs more. Each song costs almost 500 points. But the advantage is that steaming is convenient. You see, now, Gu Huiyan can directly send the accompaniment to the staff here and play it directly on site. Gu Huiyan does not need drums, but strings. Sometimes a single instrument cannot perfectly interpret a song. Dong dong dong. Holding the drumstick in his hand, Gu Huiyan began to beat the drum slowly. The song Possessed is different from Reverse War. The electric guitar on Reverse War can immediately ignite the audience, but Possessed belongs to a. The rhythm keeps rising, the process of climbing. It will slowly burn and burn more and more. Every time you move, you hit. The feeling of playing the drums is so comfortable that you can't help but shake along with the melody. The drum set has a bass drum, which needs to be stepped on with your feet, and people can't help but get a little excited during the step. You look like Gu Huiyan. He seemed quite shy before entering the state. With the intensive drum beats, his whole state became very excited. Oh ho! There were people cheering at the scene. Gu Huiyan almost didn't delay as he played the drums and sang. In an instant, the rules were overturned. Who am I? My inner demons are dancing wildly. Right or wrong, I can suddenly understand, the devil begins to revive the truth. In the mist. Who is complaining? The highest honor, enjoy solitude. Strive to conquer. The one who flattens the world, anger. Oh! As soon as Gu Huiyan opened his voice, the whole audience started shouting. Just look at Huiyan's voice, it's really God's reward. When he opens his voice, his strong aggressiveness seems to overflow along the screen, and it's like it's all over everyone's face. That tone is so gangster. Some people say that Possessed is simply the biological son of Reverse War. If you listen to the melody, the singing, and the various arrangements, it is so similar to Reverse War. It's true that Gu Huiyan didn't sing Reverse War to bully people tonight, but he sang a new song with the same style as Reverse War. This song is really overbearing. I don't know if it was because I was still an amateur when I sang Reverse War, but everyone feels that Gu Huiyan has improved in terms of singing skills, voice, etc. now, and he can sing more steadily than when he sang Reverse War. It's absolutely amazing. Wow, it's really stable. Hong Kong singer Chen Feng, who was accompanying the family, looked at the scene with some amazement. Many people at the scene, such as Zheng Yunbin, Su Xiun, Shen Yuqi, etc., have heard of Gu Huiyan's live, so it is not surprising for him to be in such a scene. But Chen Feng had never heard of Gu Huiyan's scene before. Although he had seen his videos online before and listened to many of his masterpieces, this was really the first time for Chen Feng to listen to Gu Huiyan live. All he can say is, so stable. It's so stable. When Gu Huiyan performed, Not only was his performance style very stable, but his singing was also very stable. With such a burning melody, he actually gave people a feeling of being able to control it easily. The technique of singing every lyric is so natural that no trace of deliberateness can be seen. When dealing with certain sentences, such as the word angry, the angry tone used is just right. He uses techniques to give people a full of emotion feeling. It's so exaggerated. Chen Feng is a veteran Hong Kong artist. They are all very capable. Usually when they come to perform in the mainland and meet some young artists, they are crushed. No wonder people look down on young artists from the mainland. As for those little fresh meats and so on, needless to say what they have been like in the past 2 years, let alone your singing skills. Many of them don't even have outstanding timbres. They are just like those mass-produced on the assembly line. One by one is better than the other. Virtuous. Over time, young artists from the mainland gave Chen Feng the feeling that they might not have much ability. Even if it is Zheng Yunbin, Chen Feng actually doesn't like him very much. On the contrary, this Gu Huiyan. As soon as I opened my voice and sang a few simple lyrics to him, he was amazed. The most amazing thing is, he was playing the drums and singing at the same time. You must know that the drum beats are different from those of the guitar and piano. Their melodies are different. For example, if you are used to entering the verse and chorus at a certain point on the guitar or piano, the drum beats will be just different, which can easily make you uncomfortable. Enter. The division of labor between instruments in accompaniment is inherently different. Some can be connected and some cannot. Furthermore, compared with guitar and piano, there may not be much to remember about drum beats, but because there are many drums, you have to play multiple drums with your hands. After playing on the left, you need to play on the right. After playing on the top, you can play on the bottom, and there is a bottom under your feet. Drumming requires coordination of hands and feet. No matter how complicated the piano guitar is, it can only be controlled with 2 hands, using only the fingers, but this drum requires the use of both hands and feet. Many people are already in a hurry just for this cooperation, let alone singing on their own. This is why you can see many singers on the stage playing guitar and singing by themselves, playing and singing by themselves on piano, but very few singers playing drums and singing by themselves. Anyone who can play and sing by himself is a very skilled drummer. As far as Chen Feng is concerned, Gu Huiyan's drumming technique and proficiency, as well as his coordination with his hands and feet, drum beats, and music when singing, are simply perfect. Just make him amazing. Taking care of so many things and still singing so well. Previously, Su Xiun and others said that Gu Huiyan was the big devil, but Chen Feng didn't think so and thought they were not bad either. Looking at it now, he is actually younger. Just now, Gu Huiyan said harshly that they could fight on wheels. He thought that Gu Huiyan didn't know the heights of the world, but now it seems. He was naive. No matter how dark the clouds are, no matter how dark the wind is, you can't let me stop my journey without any obstacles. Let the gods stand at your feet. Pave a heroic road for me. Ah! Someone was already shouting at the scene. Should I say it or not, just the second-grade and hot-blooded points should be mentioned, and Huiyan should be taken care of. Back then, his song Reverse War ignited the souls of countless middle school students. That night, countless college students sat up in bed late at night and turned around to bench press 100 or 200. Now, he sang another song Possessed. Listen to his lyrics. This is so damn hot-blooded, okay. A comment in the comment area immediately hit the screen, and it was said by Xiu'er. Someone, please kill me to help my brother. The following group of people went crazy. Add 1 plus 1. If you don't set up the barrage, many viewers will not be able to see the screen when watching the program, and they will be directly flooded by this barrage. The most amazing thing is that these lyrics fit the current situation very well. Haven't you noticed that the situation Gu Huiyan is in now is exactly what the lyrics of Possessed say? Gu Huiyan was alone in a fierce battle with 5 people on the other side. The situation was not good. Many people even didn't think he would win. They felt that he didn't know the heights of the world. The black men even showed their chicken feet to discredit him. And how did he do it? He responded to everyone with a few lyrics. Listen. He sings that no matter how dark the clouds are or howling the wind, they can't stop me from my journey, and the wind and clouds are unstoppable. You said that among those 5 people, there are well-known artists, female idols with excellent dancing skills, and rappers who are full of grain. Gu Huiyan has little hope in this battle? Then Gu Huiyan will sing. Let the gods under my feet pave a heroic road for me. Look down on everything. How domineering. The songs Gu Huiyan sings are always so appropriate to the situation and resonate with people. Some people even wonder if this guy just wrote another song on the fly. These lyrics are as good as swearing. Just this moment. Many people have goosebumps already. Even the 2 seniors, Zhang Ma and teacher He, felt infected. To be honest, Gu Huiyan was really enviable. He was so flamboyant, unbridled, and domineering when he performed. He was really too aggressive. Got it? The previous lyrics already give people this feeling. The chorus, even more, did not disappoint. Dong dong dong. After a burst of sonorous and powerful drum beats, Gu Huiyan sang. A drop of tear, looking back halfway. I only have fight. Fight. As soon as this lyric came out, the people present could not control their goosebumps. This situation happened today because Xiang Zi was bullied and she cried, and Gu Huiyan, as her brother, vented her anger. But isn't it just a drop of tear turning back halfway? All he can do is fight? These lyrics are so fitting for the occasion. The stars in the sky, after falling. I pray don't go. Don't go. The drum beats can't be said to be intensive at this moment, but they are so sonorous and powerful that it seems that people can't help but want to sway along with it. Don't be too rhythmic. The sound wave is too strong. If you don't shake, you will be knocked to the ground. That temperature can no longer be retained. Love has gone cold. So cold. The chorus framework of Possessed is simply outstanding. You can find that the chorus of this song has almost the same framework, but the different lyrics make each lyric feel very special when it is sung. Some viewers can't help but sigh, this is Gu Huiyan's level. My heart is willing to be shared with you. All the way to the end. The end. The last 2 words end, the angry sound in Gu Huiyan's throat was like the roar of a locomotive engine, directly bringing the entire singing to the climax. Ah! Everyone at the scene had goosebumps. Even Zheng Yunbin had to admit that Gu Huiyan's song was so hot. At this time, someone said in the barrage that you should never meet Gu Huiyan, who sang Reverse War and Bewitched. He is really the devil himself, and no one can be his opponent. Now, that man, alone, with a drum and a song Possessed, ignited the entire audience. What does it take to get started? What is needed is a high intensity, which can ignite the whole audience into an explosive high inflammation. Gu Huiyan. Ah! Many people were shouting at the scene. The barrage is also flooding. My brother is so handsome. You kid has a problem. Don't ask, just ask, because my brother deserves to enjoy the ancestral temple. Is this still the one with the blindfold from my family? I don't even recognize it anymore, ha ha ha. Brother Huiyan is so handsome. The funniest thing is that Shen Qingqing, the little guy, didn't know if he was really infected, so he couldn't help but stand up and shout. Together with Zhang Yao and Xiang Zi, they helped Gu Huiyan. Puff. Many viewers laughed like crazy and said, Sister Qing, you are so stupid. People are targeting you and you are cheering them on. Snapped. Su Xiun raised her jade hand and slapped her forehead, indicating that this woman was hopeless. completely hopeless. Possible. It's probably because too many people are touting it. The atmosphere was so hot. When singing the next verse, Gu Huiyan specifically raised the drumstick in his hand and spun it around. When entering the next chorus, throw the drumstick up and spin it in a beautiful arc in mid-air. Wow, he's so handsome. Several female staff members in the audience couldn't help shouting. Gu Huiyan, who plays the drums and sings at the same time, is really not ordinary handsome. This kid really made him pretend tonight. Even Pei Jingshu in the background couldn't help showing some nymphomaniac expression in her watery eyes. No girl wouldn't like her boyfriend to amaze everyone with his wonderful performance on stage. Do you think she would be jealous if a girl in the audience is a nymphomaniac? That certainly won't be the case. It was too late for her to be happy and proud. Gu Huiyan on the stage is her child after all. The first performance ended with Gu Huiyan's high-octane possessed and the cheers of everyone present. Dong dong. The last few drum beats fall. Ah! The scene was filled with shouts. Gu Huiyan! Gu Huiyan! Gu Huiyan! Sister Zhang Yao is very good at stirring up the atmosphere. She even led some staff on site to shout Gu Huiyan's name. Then the whole audience shouted for Gu Huiyan. This makes it quite a headache for Su Xiun and Zhen Yunbin to accompany their family. Haha! Teacher, he was so happy when he came on stage to host. He couldn't help but joked. Okay, stop howling. If you keep howling so loudly, you might think Gu Huiyan paid for it. Haha! This statement caused a burst of laughter. In fact, professional hosts can do everything equally. For example, after Gu Huiyan sang Possessed, the scene was so hot that Su Xiun and the others didn't have to sing. Gu Huiyan, it's like winning directly. Whoever comes up from Su Xiun's family at this time will be unable to take over the situation. Then teacher, he naturally wants to suppress the momentum here, otherwise they will not be able to play. This is a professional host. Unlike some hosts, when there is a dispute, there is a hole. Who should I stand for? Are you kidding me? How can any host blatantly take sides? So not everyone can be the abbot. Some people should make movies, and the movies they make are pretty good. Back to business. Back to this. After a few simple words of ridicule, teacher, he went to Su Xiun's house and asked. Come on, who do you plan to challenge? Gu Huiyan gave them a good start. He ignited the whole audience with his song Possessed, which was a bad thing but also a good thing. Indeed, everyone was conquered by him, but everyone was also ignited. Everyone who talks about crosstalk talks about hot spots. When the scene is hot and the audience is excited, it will be easier to perform on the stage. But when teacher, he finished speaking, Zhen Yunbin's accompanying family was completely silent. No one opened his mouth, no one stood up, and there was not even a discussion. They all lowered their heads silently, with a "don't look for me" look. It's quite funny. They looked like they were afraid to go on stage. Ah ha ha ha. It entertained many viewers at once, and everyone expressed their opinions. I didn't believe that my brother was a big devil before, but now I know how powerful he is. Son of a traitor, didn't you say harsh words just now? Why don't you fart now? No, you rappers are not convinced by everyone. What about your hair shape? You need to stand up. In fact, it's not Zhen Yunbin and the others who are timid. The main thing is that no one wants to do this. Shoot the first bird. Please. Gu Huiyan's song Possessed ignited the whole audience, and it was a perfect performance. Yes, the audience became enthusiastic, but the problem was that the venue was not easy to handle. Who has the confidence to say that he can catch the second scene after Gu Huiyan's possession and catch it steadily? Zhen Yunbin sang a rap song, which was quite popular, but he didn't think the song could compare with Possessed. He even thought that his song would be turned into trash if it collided with Possessed. It's better to do it again next time. For a moment, The atmosphere was a little awkward. No one from their family dared to play. Let me do it. In the end, it was Su Xiun who stood up. Oh! Some people at the scene cheered. Pa bang! Even Gu Huiyan raised his hands and applauded, and he couldn't help but say, "You're quite a man." As soon as these words came out. Puff! Ha ha ha! There was a burst of laughter at the scene. Someone on the barrage is saying, "Gu Huiyan, who do you mean by what you said? Ha ha, it's really embarrassing for these three big men to ask Su Xiun to stand up. You should scold them." Sweet girl Su Xiun turns out to be the most manly one, he, it's so ironic. Zheng Yunbin and Chen Fen didn't look very good, and they all saw that Gu Huiyan meant them, but they couldn't say anything. Because they really don't look like men. There is a saying that Su Xiun is quite popular when she comes forward. She was scolded badly today for Shen Qingqing's formation of a band, but now she has regained some popularity. But bravery and strength are never directly linked. Even if Su Xiun prepared a very dynamic song and sang and danced in the end. During the voting period, Gu Huiyan's possessed was still crushed in a faulty way. Victory in the first battle. Gu Huiyan raised his hand towards the other side, which meant, "Who else is coming from you?" Zheng Yunbin gritted his teeth. He couldn't stand it anymore. He really couldn't stand such insult. "I would like to thank all the people who have given rewards. I can't thank you enough. I will remember every one of them. Thank you all."